The Proto-Semitic Allah burning down tells us was a black God represented by a black bull whose hide denoted his black skin.
Here's the picture that he showed on the screen. It's a deity El, the god El. Pay attention to the crown or the headdress, if you will. This is a picture from the front of the same statue, a little closer, and a little bit from the side here. Now, this headdress is actually the Atef crown. If you go on Webster's online dictionary, that's what it says. Atef is the specific feathered white crown of the Egyptian deity Osiris. It combines the head jet, the crown of Upper Egypt, with red ostrich feather for the Osiris cult. The Atef crown identifies Osiris in ancient Egyptian painting. If you go to Webster's dictionary, Merriam-Webster, it says Atef, hold on, a tall crown with a long feather on each side, shown in the art of ancient Upper Egypt as worn by Osiris. Okay? Here you can see Osar or Osiris with the Atef crown. This is from the papyrus of Nebket. It's actually in the Louvre Museum, and you can see me filming that papyrus on the video entitled Reality Check. Why black people ain't going nowhere, but you might as well put Afro Style reality check, it's gonna come up. And in here, it's also from the Louvre Museum. You have Osiris in the middle with the Atef crown, and the description for it, if you go on the website of the Louvre Museum and you type Royal and Divine Triad, you can do a search and you will see they mention that he is actually wearing the Atef crown. Now finally, you can compare the crowns. Okay, first you have the god of the Arabized Negroes, which first is El, but somehow, some way becomes Allah. But that's up to y'all. That's up to the doctor. And then you have the one that I showed you, Osiris. Then again, from the front, compared with another statue of Osiris, and then finally the same statue from another angle.
Biblical King's Seal discovered in dump site. This is the royal seal of the King Hezekiah, and here we have an Ankh. And finally, last but not least, you need to see it to believe it. The God of the Bible, El, slept in his own dung and urine. This is Ugaritic Narrative Poetry, page 195. And we also have this book here, the Masria in the Prophetic Literature, where it clearly says that El floundered in his own feces and urine. I hope you're doing well. The title of this video is New Year Resolutions. Today it is January 1st, 2023 of the Gregorian calendar. Let me first check the sound. I want to make sure you can hear me loud and clear. Beautiful. Now, you have surely noticed the new layout. It's our brother, Blaya. Sometimes you see him in the chat. And he sent it to me. Just like the first time he did a layout for me. He did a few actually. I did not ask him for anything. It was a surprise. What a beautiful surprise. So I want to thank our brother. Maybe you hop on later on. I'm telling you, some people want to see you win. When they see that you're coming with truth, they support you automatically. Now, I want you to hear what I said to Reggie, because I felt like telling him for a while. and I'm glad I did. So I will first share the link of the video in the chat, and then I will play my nice conversation with our brother Elder Reggie. Oh, for those who wonder, here's the link in the chat. For those who wonder, only members can post in the chat. You have the link to become a member. It's not the same as being a subscriber, and it is YouTube or Google, same company. For those who don't know, Google bought YouTube, so it is YouTube that handles this. I don't know the first name, last name, email address, phone number, postal address, bank information of the people who are members. All I know is the YouTube username, because I'm aware that many people, even though they are hardcore Black Power revolutionaries, they are already scared to show their face, and they are even more scared to have anything connected somehow, some way with their personal information. But I don't know it. It is $3 a month, and if you make the calculation, that's $36 a year. So if you ain't got it, then I suggest you evaluate your life and spend less time online watching live streams, because you need to step your financial game up. I don't mean to sound uh, harsh, but it's a reality. We have New Year resolution, and all those people have solution for the betterment of our people, but they cannot afford $3 a month. They need to rethink and reevaluate um, their um, their future. Really, I mean it. And I know some people don't like to hear stuff like that, but there's levels to this. There's levels to this. Okay. For those who wonder, I have crushed a PhD called Dr. Wesley Muhammad, who challenged me for a debate. He challenged me publicly to a debate. I accepted. We spoke about it. He backed down. I have a level. I'm familiar with the Medunet. I've been dealing with the information for a long time. In April, it will be 19 years that I started my website. So almost close to 2 decades dealing with the information. Some people don't know me and they take me for granted, and they found out the hard way that they shouldn't have messed with me. Then they run to the Abrahamic believers, pay them money to look good. But at the end of the day, the outcome is still the outcome. For those who have seen The Harder They Fall, that was Regina King talking. The outcome is still the outcome. You can listen to what she says next. Somebody got to go. So let me play. This is our brother, Smash Rockwell. So I think he probably fell asleep. So for those who don't know Smash Rockwell, well, you have the link to this video. So I recommend that you subscribe to his account, because Smash Rockwell has taken so much of his own time to deal with many claims, many of them coming from the what we call the Riparianites. Because I'm being diplomatic, I'm like, okay, some people, they felt so much pressure that now, they are no longer existing online. So we're just going to, call the group the Riparianites. They were like the Garfieldites, or whatever you want to call it. I call them, Kitty Energy dudes, but we'll find a nickname for these guys. You can make your proposition as well for the New Year resolution. Feel free, if you have proposition in terms of an appellation for these individuals who have seen their world collapsing. But we can thank their Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, Messiah, Jesus Christos, because their Lord and Savior has made it so that the female cat resurrected less than 3 days later. All of a sudden, the next day, he good. He's live right now. It has 588 subscribers right now. And we know how he got his subscribers. Some of you don't know how he got his subscribers. He used to upload Sinetta videos. And we will see what this ungrateful dude did. But, like I said, Smash Rockwell, also known as Jonathan Owens, who had a career in hip hop with the group Hieroglyphics. That brother knows him at the net chat as well. He and Osam Khan have spent quite a fair bit of time explaining the Mednecha and the culture of Kemet. So let's listen to my convo with Brother Reggie. Okay, Reggie, I want to tell you, I appreciate you, brother. I respect you, brother. I didn't like what went on between us. I felt attacked. I felt disrespected. I know you have knowledge. You're just in the wrong camp, brother. But you have the right to your stance. You're older than me. I'm not here to dictate what you have to do. And if you want to have the discussion with Jabari, it's going to be interesting. So we'll see what happens. But I wanted to tell you that, man. I respect you. I appreciate you, man. I'm not proud of what happened. I was defending myself, brother.
Yeah, I just think that you're in the wrong camp. Let me say this. Forever mind. I just think Shaka Duka Kemet. I think that
Brother
you.
Reggie.
Well,
Hold on,
first
let the brother
Shaka.
talk.
Let me first speak to Shaka Duka Kemet.
Okay.
You are a meta nature reader. I respect your skill set. Like Smash, y'all have access to the same materials I have, right? Some of you actually do some things very better than I do. I'm not the best meta nature reader, right? So, but I'm good. I respect the song Khan. We know of the text, and we know where we can find them, and we know that Mr. Osazi does not have the skill.
All right, the rest, it's hey, everybody has their opinion. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy that I got to tell that to Brother Reggie because I've documented everything that happened, man. But the main person responsible, received his karma yesterday. Because I've always been fine with disagreement. But when you're gonna put me on hold for 40 minutes and then try to grandstand when you are a neophyte, a newcomer, people don't even respect levels. Now notice the people who are more or less known, who have some platform, who are part of groups. You don't hear them hollering at me. They know better. But some people that don't have anything going on for themselves, all of a sudden they're ready to debate left and right. They're looking for a come up. That's all. And I could say names of few people known in the conscious community who talk slick about Kemet or who said some inaccurate stuff and I just corrected it. They didn't talk. They know what's up. They know they know there's levels to this. They know that I crushed a PhD in Islamic studies. But you have some people who are living in a fantasy world thinking that, because they've been dealing with some sort of scamming Ponzi scheme, pyramid scheme, for lack of better terms. And they thought, I'm going to do some marketing and I'm going to present myself as an expert. Now, I want to show you this. Some people thought I'm going to do some good marketing. I mean, this conscious community, some people call the dude an expert. Now, here, I don't know those two brothers. I've heard of them. I know more or less what they do. And you see the way they're laughing right now? I was thinking about making a meme because female cat Garfield, Kitty Energy, he dissed them. Here is our brother Blaya. Hotep sent E. You see? He knows a little something about the nature. And one of the New Year resolution could be that whoever claims to be Kemetic at least learn a thing or two, some greetings. Because it's sad, but most Kemetic people, most black Kemetic people, couldn't even read Hotep if they see it in front of them. Being Kemetic or talking about Kemet is kind of a fashion thing for many. So here he wrote, so Garfield is a coward, lol. We knew it. Yes, we knew it. It's been obvious, and I've been telling you. I've been telling you. Some people might not like when we say, I told you so, but isn't that the case? The dude is used to being on his platform with all his Power Rangers, muting people, kicking people out, and acting like he has knowledge when all he does is reading those Christian apologist blogs. That's all he's been doing. And most of the time, you don't even see his face when he's live streaming because he don't want you to see that he's reading. I mean, that thing, we used to that, you know. We are seasoned. Some of us been here for a minute. You might not have heard about us, but a fair bit of us have been here for a minute. We've been here way before the live streams. We've been here way before there was barely any upload limits on YouTube. I told you, brothers, 10 minutes per videos. That was a limit on YouTube. We go way back. Blog Talk Radio. Blaya wrote, so what Reggie's saying now, his help wasn't enough apparently. Brother Reggie, Blaya, I told him, that I respect him. I didn't like what happened, but I felt disrespected. I was defending myself. But we know who was responsible for the little confusion that took place. Reggie himself said that he was disappointed yesterday. But knowing that Reggie wasn't by Garfield's side, it's only understandable that Garfield didn't feel comfortable because on his own, Garfield is not worth anything at all. Brothers and sisters, how many times have you seen Garfield having a debate with equal time or having a conversation, even if it wasn't a debate, and he would allow people to speak more or less with equal time? Garfield is a diva. I barely seen such a diva in the conscious community. Straight up diva who paid people of European descent in order to go against black people. I mean, on his CV, he's already one of the greatest diva with the female cat energy. And all that smoke that he had for all these years, some of you might not know. But many of the videos, if not most of the video titles coming out of the female cat Garfield's channel, I want all the smoke. All the smoke. I want all the smoke. So he will play a video excerpt of the brother on the left, Mfudishi, Jehutimes, where he said in that very short excerpt, 1 plus 1 equals 3. Now, I don't know if he was talking about a male and a female, and then there's a child. I don't know. It's a very short excerpt, and he kept playing that, laughing with his Power Rangers. The brother on the right of your screen, Baba Heru, also known as Samaj. Baba Heru used to be a singer. So female cat Garfield played video excerpt of Baba Heru on stage singing. And then he will laugh with his Power Rangers. I think he will use, the sitcom, the TV show laughters over and over again. Then I think they brought up the fact that Baba Heru used to be a police officer or something like that, as if to try to imply some stuff. Those two elders got disrespected so much. All of that because they were close to um Brother Jabari Osasi. I don't know Mfudishi nor Baba Heru. I've never spoken to them. But when I saw that, I was like, man, for real? And you see the karma? If it was the other way around, if Jabari couldn't make it, oh my goodness, and all those Abrahamic believers, oh, they would have said the Most High had something to do with it. That's what you get when you mess with the Most High. You see what I'm saying? Lord and Jesus, Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, He intervened. So we can at least celebrate. Because if it was the other way around, oh my goodness, they will be doing a victory world tour. I wanted to celebrate with my brother, Chris MVP Harris, another good brother. I was there waiting. I guess he was a bit busy. And I'm sorry, like I first scheduled this live stream in like 15 minutes. Then I added another like 5 or 10 minutes. But there's many reasons why I don't schedule the live streams as early as I used to. So if it was the other way around, oh my goodness, they would have been talking and talking and talking. They would not have accepted any excuse. Now, our Storworth wrote, I've learned a lot about the conscious community in the last 24 hours. Oh, man. Now, like I said, I don't know Mfudish, no Baba Heru. I don't know how they feel about me. I've never spoken to them. But when I saw how they were disrespected, all of that because they were close to Jabari, I'm like, man. And the sad thing? One of the main reasons why Garfield, female cat Garfield, Hello Kitty Garfield, went against Jabari and his associates is because of something personal regarding the lady, regarding the chick. And he alluded to that already. Some of you have missed the time when Garfield used to say, oh, I don't have anything against Jabari. I don't have anything against Jabari. But eventually at one point say, yeah, it's something personal. Over a chick that he used to be with, that he used to date, that he used to mess with. And later on, she, you know what I'm saying? Somehow, some way, she got in contact with Jabari. So maybe Jabari knows some stuff that's inconvenient. But it is what it is. So over a personal thing, the diva female cat Garfield created all that mess of disrespecting elders, acting like he wants to preserve the sanity of black folks. And the day before the debate, he said that Kemet was some pseudo nonsense. The same guy who never put that much energy regarding the people who sexually abuse children, which he talked about publicly, but he didn't do all these live streams. Say, I want all the smokes for the child molesters.
Since I've been a part of this conscious community, sexual misconduct has been condemned and vilified almost unanimously. We saw the rise and fall of Dr. York. We had Hebrew Israelite, the brother by the name of Mighty Hebrew. He was convicted, I think, twice for sexual behavior against minors. He was widely condemned by the Hebrew Israelite community, but apparently forgiven by the Israelites, because I see him all over the place right now on everybody's channel. Another brother by the name of Nazi Yashavel, another Israelite, also involved in sexual misconduct with a minor. We have no idea where this brother is, but he's been sheltered somewhere by an Israelite group.
Now, female cat Hello Kitty Garfield spoke about Jabari's sperm count publicly. But when we talk about his degree, oh, that's personal, brother. You get into his personal business. He stated publicly that he has a bachelor's degree in history. Garfield has some grown men who are some damn groupies, and it's a damn shame. Some grown men with that kitty energy. Garfield brought the kitty energy to the conscious community. We can credit him with that. That's what he brought. And he made it cool for cheerleading groupies to come publicly with that kitty energy. And here is the result. Crushed by default. Now, let me show you something else. Karma. The karma. Just picture a meme here. You can do the screen print. Picture a meme. Yo, you remember that female cat dude who was dissing us? Man, he back down. He didn't show up. I love it. The irony. The irony. You see this here? That's the screen print. He must still be live now. Yeah, it's still live now. You had 600 people, then 500, now 475. And Jabari is speaking right now. I can see his avatar and he's talking. Unless somebody else took on his username and his avatar. But that's just too much honor that is giving him. If that is him, out of curiosity, I'm just gonna go and see if he's really Jabari speaking on that female cat's platform. Oh, I guess I have to go back. Well, actually, because I'm on mobile phone, we see the dude. Probably there's some video, NYPD, whatever. Yeah, here's Jabari's avatar, but I want to see if he's moving. Okay. Zion, let's chime in. And there's a comment that says Unc has a personal issue with Jabari, and Jabari has a personal issue with Garfield. That's so laughable. Now Jabari is the one who has personal issues with Garfield. That's so funny, man. This Abrahamic believers, they're so weak nowadays. Anyway, this here is the thumbnail for female cat's Garfield's video. The live that is going on right now. Now it might be a little small, so try to put the full screen mode on. But here, the bubble, what Jabari is allegedly saying, brother, I don't think beat Garfield. It was so much in a rush, he couldn't even put a proper sentence in. Brother, I don't think beat Garfield. He's just better than me. What can you do? And obviously, he meant to write, brother, I don't think I can beat Garfield. But he's in a rush with his marketing scheme. He has to come up with something. And then on Saneta's bubble, brother, I got it. We're going to blame him for our mistake on the event platform. Now, female cat Garfield, clown, kitty energy, he's trying to put the blame on Saneta and Jabari, because here says our mistake. He says our mistake. The guy had a loss. Everybody understood that. So they reschedule. Then with the rescheduling, something went wrong with the Eventbrite. So they did their thing, they worked, had to email people. That caused a delay. I was live streaming, we all went through that. Getting out of their ways. But Saneta revealed that ever since I've been on the platform, and I mentioned the degree that nobody has seen publicly, that he sent an invoice for with the amount of $1,800, $1,800. Female cat Garfield doesn't want to show his bachelor's in history. And he stated publicly on Doggy Diamonds that he has one. I've played it already. Why do you think he doesn't want to show it? Because there's something fishy. Some of you are not seasoned. You believe everything you hear. Just because Spooky said so, you believe it. Female cat Garfield is the same one who said that he received millions of dollars after the passing of one of his family members. Now, I heard people mentioning which family member he lost. But yesterday I heard it's another family member. But it is what it is. However, things happen. Something can happen. If and when something happens and you have a scheduled debate, the least you do is you tell the organizer of the debate, here it is, I have this and that, can't make it right now, can we reschedule? Ever since I got on Saneta Studios, Garfield stopped talking to Saneta until the day of the debate when they told him, okay, you ready? And he said, I can't do it. After Garfield came on my platform, he proposed that I go on his platform. I accepted. And every time I would propose a date, can't do it, can't do it. He would never propose a date. He would just say, can't do it. So I'm used to him running like Usain Bolt. The dude is fishy. The dude is just so fishy. The same dude who has a nerve to put on his own book cover that he's been a student of biblical history for the last 30 years, which means he started when he was 9 years old. And these dumb grown men, kitty energy dudes, don't see anything wrong with that. Grown men. Oui, chérie. Grown men who buy everything they hear. So the dude's been a student of biblical history for the last 30 years. He started when he was 9 years old. What a genius. The dude has a bachelor's in history, and he even said that he has some other degrees. But I'm focused on the bachelor's of history. And the dude said he received millions of dollars. He doesn't look, doesn't act, doesn't talk, doesn't sound, doesn't behave like someone who had millions of dollars ever in his lifetime. Now, if he had millions of dollars, did he lose it? How could he lose millions of dollars? Now, something happens. You tell your brother. The organizer, and out of respect, you can tell also your opponent for the debate. But he told Unc what's up. And he told his groupie Thunder what's up. and some other people, but not the organizer. And dumb, groupie, grown men fall for that. Just like the bachelor's degree. What did he say? He came on my platform. Oh, I showed it to him. I showed it to him. When I was inside of the studios, what did he say? I showed him to Sanetta. Sanetta said, well, he showed me. And I said, Sanetta, which university is it? Sanetta La. I said, there we go. Garfield knows that if he shows his degree, we will see the university and we can verify and ask if he really had that degree of, probably it was Photoshop. Probably it was a Photoshop job. And when he came on my platform, he came up with an excuse like, oh, it's my middle name or whatever, one of his names he doesn't want people to know. And the guy is a public figure. The guy is a public figure. Chef Air from the Pseudo Killer said that it was a different name that he saw. Chris MVP Harris said he doesn't have a bachelor's in history. He capped for him before, he will not cap for him again. Every time the evidence leads to the fact that he's a habitual liar. Something happens, the least you do, okay, here it is, I have something, a situation. He's going to tell everybody except Sanetta. The dude was mad. He was pissed off that I got on the platform of Sanetta Studios because in his dumb mind, with his dumb groupies, he thought he was somebody thorough. So knowledgeable that he's one of the top guys because he went to debate one of the top guys of the conscious community. He fooled himself. And he couldn't believe that I was on the platform. And he's so used to having grown men who are dumb groupies that he thinks he can say whatever he wants and control the narrative and control the conversation, and then we're going to accept it. Just like he's used to the church where the pastor says something and you don't go against what the pastor said. But the real world doesn't work like this. Now, listen to these, brothers and sisters.
It wasn't worth $25.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. But the thing is this.
Wait,
Reggie,
wait.
can I ask you, please, Reggie, Elder? Are you planning on? Hold on, please. Let me just ask a question, please. Please hold on, Reggie. Are you planning on debating Jabari, or have you asked Jabari if he wants to debate you?
On this show, it was just real frustrating for me. One is when Brother Garfield, I did speak to him. He was happy. He was happy about what was happening in his family's life. They had resolution. So that's all he wanted to talk about, what he was going through and the success that he had. So tomorrow.
So it was good news for him then.
Oh, it's good news for his family.
Okay,
because something happened to a family member and he was able as a father to fix it on New Year's Eve, right? And he right, and so.
But I'm not trying to find out his problem.
Something I would went to jail for. Something I went to jail for. So I don't think, Shaka, that was like a good situation. It turned into a good situation, but the initial incident was very bad.
He was happy. He was happy because he was able to solve the situation on New Year's Eve. The debate wasn't scheduled for New Year's Eve. Read between the lines, brothers and sisters. Don't be gullible. Read between the lines. He was happy because he managed to fix the situation on New Year's Eve. Some people will argue, well, the situation started before New Year's Eve, actually on the 31st. The dude is so unlucky. Once again, stuff can happen. The least you do, if you are responsible, you communicate with the organizer of the debate. And he's been his brother for years. Until I got on the platform. The same guy who spent more than 2 years disrespecting Kemetic people, disrespecting Mfudishi, Jehotimes, disrespecting Baba Heru, disrespecting Jabari. And he cannot take any heat. If you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. No matter what might have happened, because I'm not going to go and listen to what he has to say. One of the New Year resolution when it comes to this female cat, Hello Kitty Garfield, if you want to tell me about something he said, you play me the stuff. Or you give me the timestamp. And I don't want to hear this, or hooker brothers, punk dumb cheerleader groupies who are old as F and believe everything these dumbass dudes say. He probably paid them anyway, just like he paid Richard Carrier. He probably paid some people. He probably did. Because some people don't have any honor nor dignity. You shoot them a few dollars and they go on a program. Oh, but he said this, oh, but what he said, I don't give a damn what you're talking about. I have ears, I have eyes. Let me hear it. Let me see it. Making excuses. Something happened, it can happen, it's possible. The least you do is you communicate. And you say, okay, we can reschedule. That time. But the guy's like, oh, can't do it. And that's it. Are we some damn idiots? Are we some damn fools? Sanetta put him on. Sanetta allowed him to use his videos, and he re-uploaded so many of Sanetta's videos on his channel. Full live streams. And then he will add on and do some of his own content. For years. For at least a couple of years. And that's the thing he gets. The dude goes live and come up with this thumbnail and this narrative that it's because of their mistake. When they accommodated the dude, they were scheduled to accommodate the dude. And some of Garfield's hooker groupie, grown man cheerleader groupie, are trying to say, oh, but Jabari canceled first. There's no date. So stop it. You grown man groupies, you're an embarrassment. You are an embarrassment. And that's why you hooker groupies can only be on this punk cheerleader Hello Kitty channel. They don't hold any weight anywhere else. It has to be said. We have to get serious. Some people are old. Some of you call them elders. They are weak as F. I know, I've been around. A lot of these dudes, weak as F. The only thing that they have to try to, have some sort of authority is the fact that there are some old dudes. They're weak as heck. It's a reality. There are some dumbass groupies who are a certain age, they're in their 50s, 60s, and upwards. And they're lame as F, and they play the elder card. A lot of them do. These hooker groupie, dumb cheerleaders, how many languages do they speak? How many presentations do they have? Some of them don't even have a YouTube channel. But they are happy because they found a herb where all the anti-Kemetic hate can express itself. Most of them are Abrahamic, and they won't say, okay, I'm Abrahamic, I believe in that, and Yosef is pagan, as far as I'm concerned. No. They act like being Kemetic is a danger for black folks now. So it's so strange, so fishy. Now, Gaff is the same dude who said that one of Jabari's organization's member violated his daughter. He said that publicly live on air. And later on, he said, well, one of his organization's members said that I tried to kill my daughter. So he went from being evasive by saying he violated my daughter. That's what he said. That somebody from Jabari's organization violated his daughter. Can you imagine the use of the word violated? You will probably think something has to do with violence, probably sexual violence. And then next thing we know, it's like, oh, apparently somebody said that he tried to kill his daughter. That's so different. That's how he can go to that length. He's been lying all through. So he can show all his footage of NYPD and all the situation. He had the time to call Unc and all these dumb old groupie suckers, but he had the time to call Sanetta. And you grown men are going to buy that in 2023, and then you're going to talk about ancient history? No, man. Dis bonjour. Bonjour. Okay. À tout à l'heure. J'arrive. So the link is in the chat for whoever wants to buy that. Gonna take a break. I'll be back. I cannot believe it, man. So now it's Sanetta's fault now. Sanetta and Jabari's fault now. Flipping the script. Flipping the script. I wonder how long Garfield's gonna be banned. I should say female cat Garfield. I wonder how long he's gonna be banned. He didn't deliver. Do you think if it was Jabari, they would have accepted anything? And another false narrative. Chérie, baisse s'il te plaît, c'est trop fort là. Oui, je sais, mais je te demande juste de baisser, c'est tout. Another fake narrative that Jabari spoke to a mummy. Those guys, all they do is lie. From what I heard, he said that he thought he heard a voice. So if you want to say he said he heard a voice, say it. We have millions of Christians worldwide who said that they hear the voice, that they hear voices, that they hear God speaking to them or Jesus speaking to them. Elijah Muhammad said that he was hearing voices. But your hookah groupies ain't going to say jack because you're selective. You have double standard. You know damn well all of you who make fun of Jabari for allegedly hearing a voice or thinking that he heard a voice. Well, on the other hand, we have Elijah Muhammad who said that he's been hearing voices plenty of times. Now you're gonna shut the F up, you dumb groupie bastards, you hooker ass monkeys. You're an embarrassment. You and there's only one channel where you can be beach made like that. And I'm sorry for the B word that I used. And it's the female cat Hello Kitty energy channel of Garfield, the greatest liar that the conscious community has ever seen. They buy everything just because they hate Kemet. Because they were used to say, well, according to the Bible, if you read this chapter, and now, hey, newsflash, we deal with history right there. Where are your records? Where are your records? Doesn't exist. Now they're mad, they're pissed. Because back then it was fly. Well, you know what I'm saying? Well, if you look in here, in the book of so-and-so, it says, okay, hey, can we talk about history? But last year I read it. Hey, it's not last year. We're updating the scholarship. I spent 3 hours on Sanetta Studios. You've seen everybody and their mama coming with the narrative. I have Grandmaster Himhotep. If you can use a webcam, please. That's the only requirement for those that don't know, is that you use a webcam, so feel free. You can always come back. You can use your smartphone. You can use a tablet. You can use a PC. But I need you to use a webcam, please. So whenever you're ready, I'm here. I'll be here for a little while. Is it possible you use a webcam, please? Okay. So I'm going to play a little some, and then I'll be back.
So Shabazz was not permitted to stay in that area, so he took his family into the jungle of East Asia, which we now call Africa, to make a people close to nature. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, this is the origin of kinky hair. Because we didn't have kinky hair prior to that. The hair on our head was like the hair on our eyebrows. The hair on your eyebrows straight, the hair on your head is not the same as the hair on your eyebrow. But the hair of every other people is the same as their eyebrow. Your eyebrow straight, your hair something different. Wouldn't you like the hair on your head to be as straight as the hair on your eyebrow? That's why you so busy frying it. That's why you so busy pulling it. Because your nature tells you that the kink I mean, you know, with I'm black and I'm proud, we got to learn to be proud of kinks. Because most of your family of other black people on the earth, jet black. They didn't have no broad nose and thick lips and kinky hair. They were dark-skinned people, jet black. But they had straight hair, a thinner lip, a thinner nose. But we are marked as a different kind of black person. And we were rejected and despised, not only from the circle of the gods, but we were despised and rejected by all the other dark people of the earth. This is why today black people with kinky hair and broad nose and thick lips are rejected in every society. I want you to hear me well tonight. Yes, sir. Why are we rejected? Because the essence of beauty is in obedience and submission to God. And the essence of ugliness is when you rebel against God. And when you rebel against God, in your rebellion, you are marked with a certain mark of your rebellion, which is the disfigurement of your internal self, which manifests in the disfigurement of your external self. And this is why when you look at our people, wherever we are found on the earth, you find us either disfiguring ourselves physically because we are disfigured on the inside because of rebellion.
Chef was on. He left, but you're welcome to come back, Brother Shafra. Now, we have Grandmaster Imhotep and also V. Bennett. Grandmaster Imhotep was here first, so please, V. Bennett, hold on for a minute. Greetings to you, brother. Feel free to speak. Oh, Chef is back. So feel free to speak, brother Grandmaster Imhotep.
Yeah, Shaka. Greetings, family. Peace to the chat. Peace to everyone.
Peace, brother. Feel free to speak.
Are you hearing me, Shaka?
Loud and clear, brother. Feel free.
Yes. I still hear the video playing in the background. I don't know why.
Oh, well, it's best for you to probably close the YouTube tab or maybe mute it. But there's a delay between the StreamYard and the actual YouTube. It's never really the exact same timing. So it probably by now is finished.
All right. Hold on.
Mute your YouTube.
All right. So, hold on. Let me just.
Okay, our brother will be back. So, well, V. Bennett, feel free, and then we're gonna let Chef in. Feel free to speak, brother.
Yeah, Shaka. Yeah, once again, man, thanks for your due diligence and hard work, Shaka. You know, you make it easy for the rest of us because we can just sit back and enjoy your investigation and your follow-up, you know, and your precision on these topics and persons, characters, you know. But on this show, yeah, so thank you once again, bro. But listen, listen, man, there's something I want to put out there, and I hope more people speak about it. It's something called abuse. It's something called gaslighting. And in this thing, gaslighting creates harm and more mental sickness in our own people. I'm sure you've heard of the term gaslighting. It's when you victimize a person and then blame them for the victimization, right? And see, when you get used to this kind of thing, you actually become one of the suckers. You actually become one of the victims when you just openly accept it. And what I'm saying is that these brothers that do this stuff, they are victimizing our community. That is a sign that they are willing to abuse the community. But they may, if they don't even realize it, I'm questioning, has somebody treated them that way? Because fairness should just be a norm. Fairness should just be a norm. It should be the expectation, right? But the slick part about gaslighting is that there's a fine line there. It's up to you to accept it. It's up to you to decide, is it abuse? And what I'm saying is our community has to just openly reject abuse, this kind of stuff. When they speaking about topics, they project, and they will give, like you pointed out, they give I mean, you could guess this. You said everyone knew it yesterday even. They're going to blame Sarnetta. They're going to blame Jabari. And what did they do? They blamed them. And what did they do in blaming them? They they accuse them of doing exactly of what they did themselves. You see, and that is the sickness. We just have to reject it. But Dag, it's so much I actually wanted to say about yesterday. It was kind of telling. Oh yeah, we asked also who predicted they wouldn't show up. Hey, I love my people, you know, because I was raised by my people. But I gotta say, I stopped following a lot of this stuff. You know, I'm following it again, but it's because of that type of behavior that you stop following it. So as soon as I saw it, just as soon as I saw you engage the brother the days before, leading up to this thing, I knew he wasn't going to show up. I knew. And I don't think it takes a genius. We have to really convince ourselves that he would show up. I think the people that actually thought he would show up, they had to really convince themselves. They had to do a lot of hard work, because I just step in there and be like, nah, he ain't going to show up. This guy's not going to show up. And he didn't show up. That's a personality trait. That's a character. You see people like that.
Hold on. V Bennett, please. I'm sorry. Forgive me, but please stay with us. Stay with us. I want to hear what the other brothers have to say, and then we can all talk. So, go ahead, brother Grandmaster Imhotep. Feel free, brother.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Shaka. I'm actually using my phone because my internet is down. So if there's
No problem,
feedback,
brother.
I might have to cam down.
There's no
Turn the
feedback. Everything
camera
is
off. So
good.
just
The
let me
sound
know.
is good.
Okay,
Yeah, the sound is good. Feel free, brother.
Peace, family. Peace to everyone. So I'm just saying that what I saw this morning, Garfield went live, and what I saw this morning, like, it can't get any worse than this. I'm just being brutally honest. Garfield went live this morning, and he presented two videos, right, of him showing that he got some guy arrested because the guy he robbed his daughter or abused his daughter or something. Now, listen, any person with any common sense can debate Garfield and that entire pack of wolves over there, with all due respect, because these guys have lost their credibility. They have all lost their credibility. Shaka, Garfield is showing us two videos to say that this guy robbed or abused his daughter, and he set up a sting operation for 4 p.m. yesterday, and that's the reason why he could not be on Sarnetta's platform. Now, look at this. When the guy was arrested by the cops, all he did was just walk past the guy with a video, with his phone videoing it, walk past the guy, then show another video of him sitting in his car saying, NYPD, yes, we got him, NYPD, yes, we got him. It's hilarious. And then now you have the group of cheerleaders like Ankh and all of them making stuff up to say that, yes, they can validate it. Now, these are people who built their platform on source up or shut up. That's their mantra, right? He did not present any evidence that could stand up in a court of law to say that that arrest that was made was as a result of him. He did not show any video of him communicating with the officers after the arrest. He brought his daughter on his platform to start babbling. Y'all better leave my dad alone, you bitch ass niggas, and all of that stuff. They did not even produce a police report to validate their position that, yes, this is true. So we are supposed to just accept everything. What is sad, though, is that they turned the entire narrative into Sarnetta and Jabari being money hungry and talking about it's all about money for them. And it's sad because they know very well that Jabari is not like that. Sarnetta has been doing his stuff for years. Sarnetta made these guys who they were, and for them to turn around and try to make it look bad on him, and to know that you have Ankh who's using Sarnetta's platform to even support all that bullshit, it's sad. It is sad, and it shows that these guys have no credibility. I am done with them. They have no credibility. They have gone to the lowest of the lows. And all of them on the platform conveniently sat up there and were cheerleading all this nonsense. No one was questioned and said, but Garfield, where is the police report that you can show us? He was like, yo, man, I actually have Unc on the phone. Listen to what Garfield said. When people were asking him, why didn't you tell Sarnetta and Jabari? He was like, man, I could only tell Unc because I don't trust them guys. Like, how could you even insinuate that? You could have simply said, I have a family emergency. That's disrespectful and that's disingenuous. And that is sad. And I'm just going to rest for now so, my brother Sheffrin or whoever else can go along.
Thanks for this info. Now, Chef, feel free, brother.
Look, man, he said it all. Like, I mean, like, I'm just glad I wasn't the only one. I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. I'm like, am I the only one who's looking at this? Like, are y'all dudes even serious? Like, yo, y'all gonna throw y'all credibility in the trash like that? Like, now everybody already got, when you get on the internet, your credibility is already in question. All right. First off, people are looking at angles. See, man, what is this guy up to? Is he really serious? Is he a genuine cat? Now you just go and kill all your credibility right then and there. And for the life of me, I just can't understand how, even if I believed Garfield, right? And I talked to Garfield earlier, but even if I believed him, the way that it came off, I can't even say nothing. That you done talked for 3 years. I'm going to kill Jabbar. I'm going to do this, that, and the third. And it's crazy because I told Unc probably 6 months ago, I said, and I swear to everything holy. I told Unc, me and Corey told Unc personally on the phone, we don't even think Garfield going to show up. I said, yo, he's going 3 to 4 hours a day, giving out all this information. I don't even think he's going to show up. I'm like, who gives away their whole hand like that? Right? In a debate like that. I said, I don't even think he's going to show up. Unc will probably never sit there on any of those channels and say, yo, Sheffrin said that man wouldn't show up. And there's a couple other people who said the same thing. Because if you act like Garfield act, you gotta quit. And then somebody who came on, one of the last speakers on his channel today, said, if a person is running around talking the way that Garfield talked, you gotta believe that they're not gonna show up to the fight. Like it's all whooped. And the guy said, I said, okay, I'm not in Twilight Zone. I'm not the only one who see it. You dig what I'm saying? But the whole story about his daughter and everything, how convenient, right? How convenient to pull on people's heartstrings. You dig what I'm saying? And now, if you say he's lying, now you disrespecting the black family.
Yeah,
like all of this other stuff. Like it's like all skullduggery, right? You put people, and I said it in this chat. I said, y'all really gonna hate me now. I said, I'm gonna give y'all every excuse to really hate me now. I know, man, the pseudo killers had a little breakup. People was looking for reasons because I go with the truth. I go with the obvious. Like I don't have a dog in no fight. Like I go with the obvious. I come over here, I go over side net. Wherever the information leads me to, that's where I'm at. I just try to be honest about the situation. You think now in this situation, and I talked to Garfield earlier, I told him, man, if anybody, how do you not tell Sarnetta, the person that you got a business arrangement with, right? But you tell Unc that's all the way in another state and don't have nothing to do with the situation, but the person you have a business arrangement with that's in your state who could actually help you. Right?
And what did he reply?
Yeah, he said he admit that was kind of shit. Okay, you admitted it because the logic of it, you can't get around that. That's the only thing I'm gonna keep pressing. How if me and Shaka and Dougal, we got a live debate coming up, right? and we're going to make money off of it. Right? Now, I ain't trying to count nobody's pockets, but it was $25, right?
Yeah.
$25.
I
At
paid.
least 700 people was going to pay. At least 700.
Well,
So,
I don't know how many, but probably a good.
He get 1,000 something people in, and he get 2,000 something people watching a show.
No, that was a live stream, but
on a live stream.
From what I heard, there's 200 people that he had to email. So
okay,
it looks like there were 200 people.
Yeah, that was who ordered beforehand.
True.
That was from last week, but people ordered the same day. Also,
yeah, on the cash app. It's true.
Come on now, we know that thing was gonna run up.
Yeah,
that thing was gonna run up. So you telling me that all I got to do is sit in front of my computer at my house, and I have an opportunity to make $3,000 possibly, and I'm not gonna show up for that shit that he showed us on that video? The police needed him for that?
You know what I want to say, and now we can all talk, we can all interject. Our brother Grandmaster Imhotep said that he heard, because I'm not interested in going and listen to the stuff. People are gonna have to give me timestamp, and it's like, for me, the dude Garfield is just a little homie level right now. He has to build his way up, but I mean, that's it for me. It's just really, he showed to the world that he's a Hello Kitty female cat little homie. All this talk he did for 2 years straight, we've seen the result. But he said that he doesn't trust Sarnetta. Right. Wasn't Sarnetta his man for 2 to 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
That speaks volume. That speaks volume.
That's what he said. That's what he said when people were asking him, like, how could you not tell Sarnetta? Like, I'm just talking about what he said on his platform. And he was like, I'm not obligated to tell them anything at all. And then now, like just the regular groupie that Ankh is, he was like, man, he told me. But what's so funny about this whole story is this. Garfield posted on his Facebook yesterday afternoon, right? About, I will explain to everyone in due time. And Ankh's first response was a shock emoji. So if Ankh knew beforehand, why would his response on Garfield's page be a shock emoji? Like, what the F, bro? That's the look. That's the emoji that he put in his response. Right? The guy named Thunder, who is another group of cheerleader. He was on Sarnetta, right?
I concur. He's a
in his
groupie.
hand. Good. He exposed his hand that he knew. And then on Garfield's platform, he was like, it was something different. No, it was not nothing different. You're just trying to save face.
No. That's what, and I put in the chat that Thunder just exposed the whole situation. Because Thunder, on Sarnetta, said he knew and he was about to go into it. But the story that Garfield told today, Thunder ain't know nothing about that. Thunder ain't know nothing about that.
Oh, that's right.
Where it come from?
But Chefren, let's just look at it, right? For Garfield to bring his daughter on, who was a victim in this situation, according to him, just for her to prove to us with her words, she never even said anything about the matter. All she came was cursing us out, like, leave him alone and stop dick riding and all that stuff. She never said nothing at all. They never said anything about the matter. And listen to this now. Garfield said that he used his other daughter to catfish the dude. Why not use the police to catfish the dude then? So you can get him to the location. It don't make any sense at all. They have presented no evidence to validate their position. It's just like him deflecting and him just trying to put everything on Sarnetta to make Sarnetta looks bad. And there's an agenda behind that too. Because they started talking about people wanting refund when nobody in the chat was even talking about anything about refund. So
and
it's
I'm glad
like
you
there
said
was
that.
an agenda.
I'm glad you're saying that, because Sarnetta said twice yesterday that he fears Garfield did that because I was on the platform, because I'm straightforward. See, I'm not friends with those dudes. So, I want to see your degree. That's it. They're being very kind of convenient, and understanding with any excuses that he has. Now, out of all the dates that he had to do this catfishing thing, he chose the date where he's supposed to have a debate. And anybody in their right mind knows if you have a debate, regardless of the time it's supposed to start, you make yourself available so you can continue because you know you're going to have questions and answers. You know that you want to be available. You know what I'm saying? Even for me watching the debate, I made sure that I was home early. I went to Paris earlier on, but I knew I had to give myself some hours just in case it's something that goes down, just for me to watch the debate. Now I paid for it. I'm not going to ask for a refund. It wasn't Senator's fault. And I hope that not many people will ask for a refund, But that's just horrible. Out of all the dates, you pick the date of the debate to do your FBI/CIA sting operation. Please. And people fall
What's
for that.
crazy? You know
Yeah,
what's
go ahead,
crazy?
brother.
It's what you said though in the beginning. It's this is the insidious. It's so insidious. They would rather have this backlash debacle, right? Where all these other things come out. Did somebody catfish someone? Why didn't they? You could have told us this. They'd rather have all that conversation. Why? Because he just couldn't defend his first position, which he couldn't defend his position with Jabari. That's it. So they rather have all this other games going, all this other conversation. And that's really where the community has to reject it, man. We don't have time for that. No adult has time for that. Either if you have a position, come up here, share some space and time, debate it, and you might be right, you might be wrong. But no matter what, we're going to move along right down the line to the next, right? Keep the conversation going. But this whole debacle, it creates so many other it just shows a level of disrespect. I just think, people, we get used to it and we accept this. And that's why you get it like this now. It comes out even more. We got to reject it every time. Every time.
I agree, Bennett, because and at the end they talked about the money situation, right? And they were saying they got so they got so arrogant about the money situation. They were saying it was only $25. Man, just that's a donation. I said, hold on. You can't tell a person what to do with their money. Only we choose to treat our people like that with their money. Only
exactly.
So, Chef, come again. What I don't understand what they were trying to say.
They was trying to say, man, forget about that little $25. Don't ask for no refund. You ain't get what you paid for, but just act like it was a donation or something else, like basically take it as a loss. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or just give it away to Sinetta and Jabari for just them being black. I don't know, whatever, you know what I mean? But the point is the holiday season, right? And people you don't know what people's pockets look like, right? If somebody's supporting you, you respect their support. Not only do they support you financially out of their pocket, but they supporting you with their time. So not only did they get their money took, they got their time took. And y'all flippantly throwing people off like you petty if you want your money back. You petty if you are agitated because your time got played with. Like black people don't deserve, you know what I mean, to get what they paid for. Like black people don't deserve to have their time be accounted for, right? And then when people stop supporting, then they're gonna cry about that. But when you get the support, you treat people like that.
Yep. But that was like on Garfield's channel that they were saying that. But you see, the thing is that you see, I can understand if people feel like, look, I paid for debate, I didn't see a debate. But what I would tell the brothers and sisters and anybody that paid for it, with all fairness, and I don't know Sanella like that. I mean, I know who he is for years. You know what I'm saying? And even a long time ago, I was down with SETI. And there was a situation that happened, with SETI's address online. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, open up old wounds. But Sanetta might know that, years back, it's like, I wasn't his greatest fan. But on this one here, from what I can see, my own judgment, Sanetta was not at fault. So I would
I
suggest,
agree.
it would be best. I mean, do whatever you want to do, brothers and sisters. But personally, I'm not going to ask for a refund because I can see Sanetta was not at fault. I mean, they went,
Yeah, but you didn't get what you paid for.
It's true. It's true. I understand. It's true.
I don't.
It's true, brother.
Think
It's
about
true.
that, Shaka. Think about that. All right, you're not asking for your money back, right?
Yeah.
That is a personal. I don't even know why you wouldn't. Like, that doesn't make sense, right?
Well, to me, it makes sense because they tried their best, but the guy let them go at the last minute. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
He did not even.
I agree. Say you order a pair of sneakers, right?
Yeah.
And the shop owner say, I tried to get the sneakers. And you paid in advance for them. Just because he tried and just because he a black man, he don't get to keep the money. He didn't.
I would like to interject. I would like to interject. Hold on, please, brother Bennett. I'm sorry, brother Bennett. I think it's different because if you pay for a product, you're supposed to get the product. But if, for example, you pay for a pay-per-view like a MMA fight, and the fighter does not show up, I don't think people will get their money back because it's out of the control of the organizers. It's just
if the fight don't go down, you're definitely getting your money back.
I'm not sure.
Now, a disqualification or something, the two fighters got in the ring and the disqualification, you're not. But if somebody don't show up and the fight don't go on, you get your money back.
I don't know.
On the pay-per-view, you get your money back.
But go ahead, Bennett. Go ahead, Bennett. Now, hold on. We have Sabir Bey. Well, he says Sabir Bey is broke. Sabir Bey is a more, obviously somebody that doesn't like him, but he doesn't have any webcam, and just so people can see it. So feel free to use a webcam. So go ahead, bro. Oh, he has a webcam. So go ahead, Bennett. Feel free.
Yeah, I mean, for me in this situation, like, I think just because of the undertones, like how this guy Garfield, how he took everyone through this, right? It was by his choice. He could have contacted Sarnetta the moment he knew he wasn't, but he chose not to for his own reasons, and he didn't care what anyone else thought because it was his choice. He chose it. He knew that he signed up for the debate, and he knew he was stopping. He could have called Sarnetta, and he said he chose not even to do the decent thing, just to let us know. I was even waiting. Why am I waiting around to hear a debate? How did they even catch me to even have the time? But I was even waiting around to see the debate. I mean, it's interesting, and the brother chose to not even do the decent thing when he decided to not show up. He was supposed to just give a call to the person he was doing business with, Sarnetta. He was doing business with him. So that's the reason why you're supposed to call him. Now, I would say for the community members, from our point, if we see it that way, if we understand this is one person that chose to have this come out this way, then we shouldn't punish nobody else, right? We should let Jabari. He did his presentation. His presentation was great. He showed up. So in a way, it's kind of slick that Garfield don't show up because he's automatically punishing Jabari now by him not showing up. Why should Jabari took his day off? He took, it might take you a week, a couple of hours, taking down notes. So for a whole week or 2 weeks, some people, it takes longer to prepare this. Yeah. Even though he already knows the information, he spent time, and we all spent time. Garfield wasted everybody else's time. The rest of us, nobody else should be punished. But on the other hand, it's a personal choice. But that's just my feeling. If you support Jabari, if you support Sarnetta, don't punish them for this guy. But Sarnetta got to step up.
Punished though.
Don't put it.
The pay-per-view event didn't happen, so they're not getting.
No, the event happened. The one person, but I guess we never agree on that. Garfield didn't show up. He had his excuse,
Right.
but the event happened, you know, and it was, I
No,
don't know
So
the
if it
live
was,
event was on Sinetta. That's
it
why
was
he
a
had.
default.
yeah,
He
but the
lost
people
by
were
not showing
informed
up.
because there was an Eventbrite situation. Because I followed the
Mhm,
whole thing. I paid on Eventbrite early, you know,
mhm.
like
You know
a
what
week
it is?
before something. You see, but let me
Like,
let brother Grandmaster Imhotep speak, and then we're gonna let Sabir Bey. But Sabir Bey, please leave your webcam on. Go ahead, brother Grandmaster Imhotep.
Yes, Shaka. So pretty much when you look at everything, clearly there was an agenda. Like it is clear as day that there was an agenda to sabotage, to undermine, and discredit. Now, Garfield came on his platform and he was saying that he had a 4 p.m. sting operation to carry out. Now, who carries out a sting operation at a 4 p.m. when you have a 1 p.m. debate? So you are going to run from that debate and go to a sting operation. How can you function properly during a debate, bearing in mind that there's a sting operation at 4 p.m.? That doesn't make any sense. That explanation was just so silly. The next thing is that he was talking about he was trailing the guy from the train station. No evidence of that, right? No evidence of him talking to the cops about the matter. What was funny, I found on his platform was all the groupies that were on there, they were all combative. They were all cursing out the panel. They were cursing out like the people to make it look as if like the people, us who bought tickets, were like the problem. They were just cursing everyone out and said, y'all need to respect the man's family and all of that. And we were like, but Garfield didn't tell Sonetta anything at all. So we are just hearing about this now. So
And
that's just the
gaslighting.
sad reality.
yeah, you know, when people are lying and they are caught in their lies, a lot of time they get angry because people don't fall for their narrative. You know, those guys are groupies. I mean, the Dagger Squad is dead. RIP, rest in peace to the Dagger Squad. Rob Bone has been saying for a good couple of years, Kemet is dead. He's been typing that in the chat. He's been saying it. Actually, when I first heard him say it on the live stream, I called him out, just like I called Garfield. Garfield came on my platform. Rabon didn't want it. He left a message. He's like, you know, if this is not West Africa, I'm not interested. I'm like, all right. I replied, all right. You know what I'm saying? But since he said that Kemet is dead for a good 2 years or more than a year for sure, I'm saying the Dagger Squad is dead. Those guys are some old cheerleader groupies. They are an embarrassment, and I see a sabotage as well. And actually, when I went to sign at the studios, and I don't mean to say like make it about me, but Sanetta, when I went after for the Metal Nature class, Sanetta said, Gavin ain't spoken to me. He's not answering the phone. He told Reggie, you know, tell him to pick up the phone. And to my surprise, the day of the debate, Sanetta said, I haven't spoken to Garfield ever since Shaka was on the panel. And Jabari said it's when we contacted Garfield to say, okay, you ready? Garfield says, I can't do it. He's not proposing any rescheduling. He's not, because he could have proposed maybe later on during the day, maybe the day after. I mean, whether they would have accepted or not. But you know, like I said earlier, when Garfield wanted to do a private live stream to show him his degree, you know, no, sorry, when he proposed for me to go on his channel, every time I offered a day, you said can't do it, can't do it. I would offer a time, can't do it, can't do it. But he's never proposing a time. This guy is fishy from the get go. Now, you know, I want to say one thing. There was a loss. I heard some people saying it was a mother. I heard somebody say it was the uncle. I'm not disputing that there was a loss. But everything else, that sting operation, to me doesn't make sense at all. You're not gonna do it at that time, as if you know if you don't do it that time, then the guy is like he's gonna go to Mexico with $2 million and he's gonna leave it up. Like there's no other time. The time of the debate. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. This guy's a habitual liar. He used his daughter's name before, and when I say the name, I'm saying his daughter before by saying that one of Jabari's organization member violated his daughter. He said that live on air. And I was shocked when he said that. And I was like, all right, then I can understand. I'm like, it's not Jabari's fault if that happened, but I can understand why he feels some kind of way. And later on, when he said, oh, one of Jabari's guy said that I tried to kill my daughter. I was like, oh, you use violated, you leave it like that, so people think it's very serious and horrible, but then it's some other stuff, you know. I mean, and then it's the same guy who said he has a bachelor's degree in history and he never shown it publicly. It's the same guy who said he received millions of dollars from who? From a family member that passed away as well. This guy is a habitual liar. The only reason why those groupies defend him is because mainly they are Abrahamic and or they are jealous at Jabari and they don't like Kemetic people. That's the reality.
But the funny thing though, Shaka, the funny thing is this, right? Because Garfield went on saw Netter Friday night, right? Some of the discussion. And when he was talking to Tori, and he was like, Tori, you know, I'm just gonna tell you that, you know, you can stay in your Christian beliefs or whatever, because then because people go on to, you know, Kemet when they leave Christianity. The biggest
Well, brother,
misconception.
I apologize. I'm gonna let you speak after because people might not have seen it, and I've actually played it. So let me just play these 2 minutes, and then you can add on. I'm sorry about this, brother.
Let me say this to brother Tory again. I'm gonna say this from the heart, bro. I was a Christian. I messed with Rastafarianism. I was in the NOI deep. I used to bodyguard Spike Lee in Brooklyn in the projects, saying I'm gonna take bullets for the dude. All right, NOI put me in that position. Now, at the end of the day, I left all of that because of growth. You're at a level right now. You see, religion is like a school. Like you have 6 grades. You have level 1, you have level 2, level 3. Right now, you're at your level. I can't force you to be where you need to be. You got to see it for yourself. Because what we do, family, is we leave Christianity and we run right into Kemet. And we feel like, oh, we saved now. And it's the same spooky nonsense. So at the end of the day, I'm going to say this to you, beloved. Do what you do based on your growth. I'm not.
Is that why you're trying to teach that Jesus is historical, Garfield?
Don't change the subject.
Uh-oh. When we have no proof or evidence for that?
Hey, so I can ask a question and I got to do
Now, hold on. Chris Harris is going. He's asking Garfield a question.
Because I'm hearing a contradiction.
Every man for himself. Enter if you dare. Go ahead, Chris.
What I'm asking here is he's telling him, he's making these inferences, speaking on things like people leave Christianity and run right back up into Kemet. That's a sweeping statement. But he himself teaches that Jesus is a historical character. Yet we have no proof or evidence of him. Uh-oh. Suetonius, Tacitus, Josephus, none of those people are actually talking about him.
No response, Garfield?
Nah, I'll pass.
All right.
Keep going, brother. That kitty energy, that was the day before. Pass. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so he clearly took offense to that, Shaka, because that was a brutal takedown by Chris right there. And he got offended by that, for sure. But the thing is this, right? He's talking about leaving Christianity and going into Kemet. Kemet is not a religion. Why do they tie in Kemet with the Christian and Hebrew garbage? People embrace the culture and the history. It's not.
It's the only thing they can compare.
So for him to say people leave Christianity and go into Kemet nonsense, no, it's not a religion. But he was embarrassed the way Chris did him, though, and the way Sarnetta dropped the bomb there, he wasn't happy with that.
It's true, he didn't like it because he's so used to controlling the narrative, to telling people, no, that's not the topic, that's not the subject. You know, he's used to that. I mean, this guy, man, he was just a hype, and I've seen it. And
you know what's so funny?
Yeah, go ahead.
That was the topic. That's the thing about it. You know, I mean, that was the topic. So, I mean, I think the inherent problem with the Abrahamic religions is when they do want to debate, they have only religion to debate, pretty much. And then when you go to Kemet, you have not only religion. Religion is just back there, and that's just the people find out about that pretty much vaguely, you know, last. It's so many other grander things. The first thing you think about is building. How did they make this pyramid? you know. And when you see all the artifacts, it's just an entire country, land full of evidence, other types of evidence that point to engineering, that point to science, all types of sciences, you know. And I think that's an inherent issue, but they just got to understand that that's the actual topic. You chose to debate this, you know, and I think that it's just shameful that he would say pass. It's just shameful. You know, there's no other answer for it. I mean, if you can't debate it, then you can't debate it. But then why even pretend? But it's a false. It's really sad to say that people leave Christianity to go to Kemet. Man,
Speaking
wow,
nonsense. He said
that's
speaking
a huge
earlier.
leap. Yeah,
I
go
mean,
ahead, Shaka.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's sorry. I want to say and hotep to Jason Edwards, hotep Sen-E. Actually, he said Senu-E, so he was greeting all of us. Chef, we lost you. You're free to come back. I don't want you to think that I put you out because you feel like, you know, people have the right to get their refund. You know, I'm not like that. So, you know, we're welcome to come back. And the brother also that was there, who had the strange username, you're free to come back as well because I've seen that you've used a webcam. But you know, keep going, brothers. You know, I'm
Shaka.
listening, and
Shaka.
yeah, yes.
Let me say this back to Chef, the brother that got put out, or that fell out. His point, right? I was going to say this. No, it actually, the event happened. It was a technical defeat. The dude did not show up. But had he shown up, it would have been a knockout and just as fast. And
Yes.
people would be just shocked by that too. They would be like, it's over already? Heavyweight matches happen like that all the time. You wait a month, you wait 6 months, and the guy show up and he knocked out in 2 seconds. Boom. Can I get my money back?
Yeah, but the
No.
thing is, the thing is, family, that Garfield himself knew that he messed up. Let me tell you where he realized it. Like maybe about 2 to 3 weeks before the debate, right? He was on Sarnetta's platform, him and Jabari, and they were talking. And he was saying, yes, I do agree that some of the things about Christianity was plagiarized from Kemet. And
I
he
heard
went
that.
on. And then Jabari said, but Garfield, do you know that the word plagiarized means stolen? And he was like, no. And Jabari said, but that's what you said earlier. And he challenged it to say, I did not say that. And Jabari said, but Garfield, you just said that a while ago. You said plagiarized. And he was denying it when we heard. We were in the chat and we heard it. So that single word knocked the stuffing out of him, because their concept of stolen was someone coming with the barrel of a gun, pointing it to your head and said, give me what you have. He wasn't looking at it from a concept of academia, where the word plagiarism is the word that's going to be applied to the debate. So that's where he realized, like, I'm in trouble here.
He didn't know plagiarizing and stealing.
He didn't know plagiarizing and stealing. He didn't.
And that's when, I mean, when I say I heard that, I don't mean that conversation, but I heard about that, and I saw when Jabari showed the definition of plagiarizing from Webster, and it no, don't, I'm sorry, don't, I'm sorry. So he knew that Jabari could have used that video excerpt and played. Look, he can't deny it, but he said it already. So it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I mean, you know, it's really sad because, to be honest, he didn't have to go and do all these things. He could have, for example, said, "Okay, I'm sick," or "I can no longer do it," and he could have just as well presented, because as long as he would have presented, his groupies would have said, "Oh, he won, and that's it." But even that he couldn't even do. That's just so ridiculous. And all this math, the irony. I've been saying he's gonna get crushed, but the question is how bad he's gonna get crushed. But honestly, I'd never imagined that he would not show up. Before people say, you know, I mean, when I heard it from Sanetta and Jabari, to me that was confirmation. But before, some people were writing, "Oh, Jabari's not showing up. I'm sorry, Garfield's not showing. I said, no, that can't be. That can't be. And then I saw Sanetta is there, Jabari is there, and then Garfield's not there. So I'm like, okay, Garfield's gonna come. Then he laughs. And I'm like, hold on, don't tell me he's gonna say something. And then Sanetta started talking, Jabari started talking. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. And then I was, yeah.
I'm sorry, Shaka, to interrupt. But you know what's funny is that he is taking the position of a Christian apologist. So he's debating Jabari from a Christian apologist perspective. Now, he is of the notion that Christianity started with a so-called Jesus. And that was going to be the basis of his argument with Paul and the Jesus narrative. That's where he's way off, because people were called Christians way before a so-called Jesus. So he was going to stay on the Jesus to say, oh, what's the basic tenets of Christianity? People accepting Jesus. No. That was where he was going to base his argument from. People were getting baptized in Kemet way before. And in order to be a Christian, you have to be baptized. We can talk about Serapis Christos, because the worshippers of Serapis Christos were called Christians as well. But he is of that notion that Christianity starts with the Jesus and the Paul's letters and all that garbage.
And you know what you're saying makes me also think of the fact that female cat Garfield had a premise in his mind. And that's one thing also that, you know, that's why it's good. And many times I say, if you disagree with me, feel free to, because I listen to the opposition side, and usually it's the same arguments. They're not really accurate arguments, but he's so much into his Christian apologist mindset that is just hearing people saying the same thing, that Kemet is whack, that we are extrapolating and all this little stuff. He said several times, Christianity did not steal a damn thing from Kemet. And when I was like, is this serious? Like, you know, this kind of argument. So after a while, he realized, dang, all the stuff that I've been saying, I won't be able to back it up. Just the cult of ISIS itself, you know. I mean, you know, let me just do that. I'm going to show Encyclopedia Britannica. Hold on. Now, Brother Chris has joined us, and I'm going to put Britannica, and hopefully I will see the part that I've seen before. ISIS cult. Read more. Now, or is it? Hold on. Oh, never mind. I'm gonna let our brother Chris add on, and I'll see if I can find the part. So feel free to add on, brother Chris. Oh, I don't know if Chris is here. Well, anybody can add on then. But okay, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. I see. Oh no, he's still muted. You're muted, Chris. But anyway, feel free to add on. I'm gonna look for the part.
Yeah. So what I am saying is that, like, you know, he's of the notion, and this is where his argument is flawed, because he's of the notion that because of the syncretism or the synchronization that took place, you know, among that entire region from, you know, Kemet to the Levant, it's not stolen because, you know, other civilizations applied it and it wasn't plagiarized. That's the, you know, the shallow argument that he was going to be presenting and arguing from. But if they take it and don't give credit, that's plagiarization, because they do not recognize where it's coming from. They do not give the credence to say, well, this is where it came from. So he was going to be arguing to say that, oh, it's syncretization. So therefore, it's not stolen.
You know, if you said they acculturated it, right, then it's still the same thing, like you're saying. If they say, no, we didn't acculturate it because we're not even connected to you, then it's plagiarized.
That's right. That's right, because like they took it and they never give credence to it. Peace, my brother Chris. Peace, brother. Got mad respect for you, man. Mad respect, bro.
Oh, peace, everybody.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Peace, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Chris.
Hey, real quick, I do want to say something here, and you guys' points of views are excellent, and they're welcome on my platform any time of day. And if anybody's seen my platform, I used to be one of those very trolly type people, always arguing, cussing people out and things like that. And it's just not the best way to go. You know what I'm saying? What I teach is decorum, understanding, and intelligence now. We got to utilize that in these types of conversations and situations that happen most recently with Brother Garfield. What's up, Brother Shaka? So the one thing I do want to sit up there and say is I think everything that Garfield is doing is going to work against him right now. And it's going to be a long fall down. Jabari showed up to the debate. Sonetter is the promoter for the debate. You do owe Sonetter a reason why you couldn't show up for the debate. And to show up to show up on YouTube the very next day with a video and explaining to the world what happened seems a bit orchestrated. I'm going to explain why. First of all, it's very disingenuous and it's not fair to the program or the platform. It's not fair. How does Brother Thunder come on there yesterday and say you're having family issues, but yet he does not live in New York with Sonetter? That's not fair to Sonetter, and I'm pretty sure him and Sonetter are friends because they've been knowing each other at the House of Consciousness for years. You owe Sonetter that to explain so he can explain it to his audience. He's already explained one time that you had a death in the family, peace be upon your family member who's no longer here, peace be upon them. But it's now your responsibility to say, I have an obligation. Let me go on there and let me explain to everybody what's going on. And we can do the debate on Sunday. We can do the debate on Monday. What it seems to me that you did, and I see this a lot in the on debate forums when debates happen, is they try to argue their way out of the debate or they try to circumstance their way out of this debate. And let me say something. Somebody such as myself who went through that with Pastor Bennett, I went through that when I grew frustrated in the debate. Actually, I actually KO'd him in the debate, but I grew frustrated in the debate because I was having family issues also. And I just left the debate. And I did not attack the people. I did not attack Sonetter. I did not blame anyone but myself because I had an obligation to maintain my composure in the debate, and I didn't. I left. I got emotional. And just looking back at that, I did a show this morning on that, and the first thing I said was, I'm not going to slander Garfield. I'm not going to do any of that because he is very important in the community. And the reason why he's very important, because he's been around a while. He brings forth a different type of methodology. He brings forth different arguments. They help keep Shaka. They help keep yourself sharp with arguments. They do. Let's just face it. I'm not going to slander him. Do I feel a certain way about what he did yesterday? Yes. Because right now, your echo chamber, which is the Dagger Squad, they're over there and they're all defending you. How does Thunder come around and say you were having family issues when you could have told Jabari and Sonetter that? No, dude, that's not how you handle your business. We're adults and we're men. And when you left Sonetter out there like that, he now has a right to do what he's doing. And Sonetter did not disrespect you yesterday. Sonetter simply said that you're a chicken and you ran. And I'm pretty sure Sonetter, after a day or two, he would let you back on the platform for you to explain yourself. But me personally, I'm not buying it. You got a video loaded up, ready to explain to everybody what happened when you could have came on there yesterday. You could have told Sonetter this yesterday. I'm not stupid. I'm looking at the so-called evidence that you're providing, and I'm saying to myself, this is not an excuse. You have an obligation. I scheduled my day around that. I was watching Michigan get the Michigan-Texas Christian game. My goodness, those Texas boys can play some football. And I waited for it. And when it didn't happen at 1, I said, okay. Then Sonetter made the he gave out a bulletin saying that we're going to get this fixed. right? We're going to get all this fixed. He got it fixed. Now, all of a sudden at 4:30, peace, Pharaohs, all of a sudden at 4:30, you're dealing with the police. It was almost like this was well thought out.
Chris,
and for you to say
Chris,
that
Chris.
for you to sit up here and put Ankh in the video, see what Ankh is saying? See what Ankh is saying? I'm all like, no. This is not good for you. What you need to do is just own up to it. This is the responsible thing to do. Hey guys, I have to own up to this, and I take responsibility. I know I seem long-winded. Just let me get to park my car for a minute, guys, and I promise. The other thing is, which is not fair. It's not fair to Sonetter's platform. It really isn't. And it's not fair because he has promoted something. He has pushed this debate. And this is the second debate where something has gone wrong. And now people have paid their hard-earned dollars, and people are insulting Sonetter and Jabari for showing up. That is wrong, and it's irresponsible, and it's showing me that you're not taking any accountability for your role in it. A simple, let me get on here and explain to everybody what's happening, would have sufficed. And guys, we can get this debate in tomorrow. Hey guys, enjoy your New Year. On New Year, I'm gonna have a New Year's Day massacre, and I'm gonna butcher Jabari. And just listening to Jabari's argument, listening to you intelligence brothers' arguments against the Christian doctrine, they're very enlightening, because I personally it could have been argued against. There were so many different angles. If he was afraid, all he had to do was say, hey, what do you guys think I should be doing? What should my angle be? He could have took the synchronism route. Me personally, the Egyptians, through my study, Egyptians gave the Greeks Christianity. They gave it to them. They taught it to them. They taught it to him through the Coptic Christians. They taught him that because they did not want to worship Asar when they gave him Serapis. They made an image of Ptolemy Soter. They gave it to him. That's why I would never make that argument. But there are arguments against it with the plagiarized text. So it could have been a 50-50 debate, and everybody could have benefited from this debate. Y'all understand what I'm saying? All right, it could have benefited from this debate, because now what we have is, it's not about right and wrong. Guys, I'm telling you, debates aren't about right and wrong. It's about skill. You know what I'm saying? I teach decorum, understanding, intelligence. That's what I push. Debating under the influence of DUI. Those are the three things. DUI, decorum, understanding, and intelligence. It's about skill. And once again, this really makes the platform, or black platforms, look bad, that Brother Sonetta can't even get an event together and give everybody what they paid for. So, Brother Garfield, if you hear this, or if any one of and I'm going to go with Brother Shaka, because I stand by Shaka all the time, because he stood by me. Any one of your groupies have a problem with it, they can come on my platform, and I promise I'll tear them down easy. He owed the community a response that day, not the next day. And the difference between me and you, Garfield, is simply this. I showed up to the debate knowing what was going on. Hindsight is 2020. I could have looked back at it and said, guys, I'm going through a lot right now. Let's take a 45-minute break. Let me get my thoughts together, and we'll get it back in. The community is not a mockery. It's the brothers who don't want to take responsibility. It's people. It became Jabari versus Ankh. It became Jabari versus Reggie. It became Jabari versus everybody else. That is an intelligent brother. That brother graduated from Cornell. It is ridiculous the way they treat him over there. I see him in Africa. I see them niggas on YouTube. I see him in Egypt, Egypt studying, Africa, West Africa studying, Africa, West Africa learning. I see y'all on YouTube. Jabari,
Brother Chris
is not in the same category. Jabari is in his own category.
Yeah, hold that thought, Brother Chris, and I agree with the majority of what Brother Chris said. It's so sad that now female cat Garfield is trying to turn the narrative around and make it seem like it's because of Sinetta and Jabari. And the reason why people hate Jabari, one of the reasons is because he's not Abrahamic, because Kemetic people, or even non-Abrahamic Black people, are a minority. And the fact that he's, labeled the MVP, the Floyd Mayweather of the conscious community. When you're at the top, everybody wants your spot. You know what I'm saying?
Pac was kind of at the top. People wanted his spot. Jay-Z has been at the top for a long time. People want his spot. This is something kind of natural, but with Jabari, it's deeper than that because Onk, I'm cool with Onk, but Onk
Right.
stated it publicly. He has a personal issue because there was an event they were supposed to do with Jabari. For some reason, it didn't happen, and Onk took issue at that. So that's personal. With Garfield also, something personal regarding the chick that he knows that is somehow somewhere in contact with Jabari. With Reggie, Osamka let us know that arrête là, arrête. I'm sorry. He let us know that. Hold on.
No worries, Shaka. No worries, bro. I'm glad you're with your
So it
family,
goes
man. It's
sometimes.
beautiful.
Yeah, that's how it goes
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah.
man.
With hold on.
Yeah, and that's the problem that we're having because it makes it look like black entrepreneurship is iffy. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And
yeah. And I'm
that's
sorry.
very sad.
And it's
Sanera has
important.
done nothing wrong. He
Yeah,
tried
it's
to provide a service for the people,
yeah.
and you cut out of it. Man, and I have to say this with this type of angst. Miss me with that nonsense with that video. That video was taken on another day. It's irrelevant to what happened yesterday. It's irrelevant. I'm glad your daughter is safe. But if I left work and I said, oh my God, something's happened to my wife, something's going on with my family, I have to let my boss know. I just can't say I got an emergency. Bye, I'm out of there. Right? Because if I just leave and holler out and then call him and say, hey, I had an emergency, I can't show up, he's gonna ask, what is it? It's a family emergency, right? Okay, cool. I have to let him know that. All right.
But do you know what's funny, Chris?
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
brother.
I'm sorry, Chris.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
saying,
I've been long-winded.
do you know what's funny? You know what's funny about the entire situation? When everyone was saying, but Garfield, you had a debate with Saw Netter, and you could have said something to him, and he got defensive and saying what? I'm not obligated to say anything to
Yes, that's
anybody.
what I'm saying.
Once
Yes.
you see that combative defensive mechanism in place, you
Hit dogs
know
holler.
he's not comfortable with people asking that
On
question because it doesn't make no sense. It makes zero sense. At least show Sarnetta some respect and let him
Yeah,
know
no
I
common
deserves
understand
that.
the
decency.
emergency.
Ah,
Yes,
yeah.
he
You
deserves. And I
you get
told,
defensive and said you're not obligated to. Come on, bro.
yes, and I
on New
And
said,
Year's on New
and and
Year's
and
Eve. On New
and
Year's Eve, that's how he gonna take it New Year's into. I don't owe you nothing. I don't owe you an explanation. That's
and he
I'm
said,
sorry.
I,
I'm
I didn't
sorry.
hear it, but I believe my brother, Grandmaster Imhotep, it used to be Imhotep 360. He said he doesn't trust Sanetta. The slap in the face. Now, I just want to share because I really like to substantiate. So I've shared the link in the chat here. This is from Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, I want just the listening audience to see that. So, I mean, I can go to the top, but the
and
article
yes, it
here
was a
is
bad day
about
for the Big Ten.
yeah. So this is Isis, Egyptian goddess. And when I go to the last paragraph, what does it say? It says the first, is it showing well? Yes. So make sure you put your full screen mode on if you have your some smartphone. The first major temple dedicated to Isis was built by the late period King Nectanebo II between 360 and 343 BCE at Bet el Hagar in the central Nile Delta. Other important temples, including the island temple of Philae, were built during Greco-Roman times when Isis was dominant among Egyptian goddesses. Several temples were dedicated to her in Alexandria, where she became the patron of seafarers. From Alexandria, her cult spread to Greece and Rome. And finally, images of Isis nursing the baby Horus may have influenced the early Christian artists who depicted the Virgin Mary with the baby Jesus. So here it says may have influence. But earlier he says that from Alexandria, the cult of Isis spread to Greece and Rome. But then we have some Christian apologists who want to act like, oh no, it's nothing to do with it. It didn't influence anything. Didn't take a damn thing. I mean, it's getting ridiculous at this
What?
point. I mean, you know, we heard them. Oh, Kemet didn't take a damn goddamn thing from. I'm sorry. The Bible didn't take a goddamn thing from Kemet. Christianity didn't take a damn thing from Kemet. That's so ridiculous, you know. And once again, I'm so glad because Brother Chris is here. The doctor, Dr. Carl Bowman, and I think he handled himself well. I don't think he was prepared for that kind of environment, but he handled himself well. But he is a PhD and he is a Christian. And when he was asked for about the historicity of Jesus, it's the same old Josephus Tacitus quotes. Josephus, born 37 AD. And Tacitus, I don't know when, but that's decades later. And he talks about the superstitious, and we don't even have the first name Jesus. So all these talking points on their platform, those Abrahamic believers, they are convincing themselves. But when they are met with some people who have opposing views, it's like a emotional damage. But we can have dialogue, but they have the nerve to act like we are pseudos. And that's just ridiculous. So anybody, I mean, even if Garfield wants to come in, we can talk as long as he's respectful. But I don't think he will call in. But anybody that's supposed, I spoke with what was his name, Black Lion Supreme, who is a Dagger Squad member that was on Smash Water, and it was cordial. But go ahead, Bennett. Go ahead.
Shaka, you know, you touched on something interesting. You know how they view the Kemetic community as pseudo, right? But in my mind, when I hear that, it just reminds me of anti-black racism. Like, isn't that what the white people said about Afrocentrists like 40 years ago? That's what they called people like Ben Yakina pseudo. They tried to make it pseudoscience. And so that's what I find, you know, particularly just problematic with that approach that they take, you know, because it's almost like they don't know the history of that. They don't see that they're almost maybe repeating something that was one wrong that happened. Now our elders, they actually get proven right. A lot of our elders that were looked past 30, 40 years ago, turns out their work happened to be more accurate than people thought. Today, they accept that. Science pretty much accepts that today. And now we have this repeat again. Now it's back to, it's just pseudo. Yes. You know, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, yes. And you see, brothers and sisters, hold on, brother Grandmaster Imhotep. Once again, brothers and sisters, this here, that's Amenhotep III, one of the most powerful pharaoh that ancient Egypt ever had. And he is Akhenaten's father. He's King Tut's grandfather. And that's around 1300 BCE. Now we can clearly see not only his skin tone, the shape of his nose, the shape of his lips. Other people argue that we don't see any hair, that it's a headdress. Fine. But then what do we hear? We hear, oh, but you cannot tell somebody's phenotype, somebody's ethnicity by his feet. We hear it all. Race is a social construct. That's Lucaship. That's not Lucaship. That's an original artifact housed in the Louvre Museum, one of the most visited museums in the world. And there's other depictions. And when I show the statues, you hear what the brothers say now. Oh, but no, but you cannot tell when it's a statue. You know what I'm saying? It is wood. You know. So even when we show paintings, I mean, it never ends. But, you know, feel free, brothers.
Yeah, so Shaka, my concern, I'm sorry, Chris, you're gonna go ahead. Go ahead. No, I was gonna say that my concern in the community, right, especially in academia, whenever we see the word Christ, whenever we see the word Messiah, automatically we try to tie it into a so-called Jesus. And that's a misconception because those are titles. Cyrus the Great, who is in the Bible, who is an historical person, was a Messiah. He was also a Christ. You get what I'm saying? So whenever they want to talk about, a Christ, they think it's referring to Jesus. So even when a lot of these, contemporary historians speak about a Christ or a Messiah, they are correlating that to say it's in reference to the biblical Jesus, when those are just titles that have been given to many other people.
And you know what? You know, what if they find out that it's not just one or two or three or four people that had that title? Maybe they find out that it's thousands.
I mean, Joshua was
several
one of
people
them.
had
That's
it.
where they get the term Yeshua from.
Yeah, several people had the title, Messiah. But I wouldn't say thousands, but several people had it, and that's very important, very interesting. You see, so when people talk about that Josephus quote, it says Christus. Or Christus, depending how you want to pronounce it, which obviously is like a Latin rendition of Christos, and Christos is the Greek translation of Messiah, which means anointed. So and this is Bart Ehrman here. I mean, Bart Ehrman, his conclusions to me are off, but I really like his work. And I'm going to move on to, is it Price, the scholar that Bart Ehrman recognizes, because Bart Ehrman, he
You
likes
know,
to.
Bar Ehrman's work is trash with me, brother Shaka.
Well,
Throw
I,
that
I
out.
get it. I get it. His conclusion are
Yeah,
off,
go ahead, go ahead,
but
go ahead.
there's a, but I will move on to, I think it's M. Price. But there's one guy who has credentials in the field, because but anyway, I don't want to be too long with it. I want to thank Akili Omari for becoming a new member. I appreciate it. So feel free to add on, brothers. I really love this conversation. But once again, brothers and sisters, if somebody wants to get on the panel, even if you disagree, even if you support Garfield, even if you are a Christian apologist, no matter your religion, no matter your ethnic background, you have the link to get on the panel. It's the second link. You can use your PC, you can use your smartphone, you can use your tablet. The only requirement is that you show your face. You are welcome. We're going to talk like grown men. It's all good.
Yeah, well, I do want to say this. The let me pull this up real quick. Let me get some things up. Let me pull this up because I want people to see something. Where is it at? Let me pull this up because we have to. What I had begun to notice was, let me read this. Let me get this presentation up so everybody can know something here. Let's go to share. Okay, no huddle offense. Okay, Shaka, is this being shared? Is this being shared, brother Shaka?
Yes, brother. Can you see it?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I want to show everybody something about Christian apologetics here so we can understand what Christian apologetics is. Because many people hear Christian apologists and some people become intimidated because they seem so smart. They seem so well versed at Christianity as a whole. First of all, Christianity is very informal. It's not formal. It's very subjective. It's not objective. Now, the Christian apologist, as the definition states from Wikipedia, which is a free encyclopedia that you can find on the internet, and if you read it correctly, you can go to the sources as it's mentioned in these parentheses here to get the full text or get the full understanding of where they're pulling their conclusions from. But let's just read it in general. It says, Christian apologetics, which is ancient Greek, quote unquote, verbal defense, speech in defense, is a branch of Christian theology that defends Christianity. Let's continue. Christian apologetics has taken many forms over the centuries, starting with Paul the Apostle in the early church and patristic writers such as Origen, Augustine of Hippo, Justin Martyr, and Tertullian. Then continuing with such writers such as Thomas Aquinas, Duns Scotus, William of Ockham, Aslam of Canterbury during scholasticism. Now, I want to show everybody something. People like Pastor Bennett, what they start doing is mentioning people like Tertullian, Justin Martyr, sometimes Origen, Paul. First of all, those are not historians. They are being very informal and subjective with their speech concerning Christianity and the proliferation of it in the 3rd century or 1st century CE. They are not, once again, they are not historians. So when somebody uses a Christian apologist against you, you have to understand who or what Christian apologist is. Therefore, you can sit up there and argue against it. And one of the things I was hinting at with Dr. Carl Bowman was simply this. Where is your sources that proves Jesus existed? Well, of course, they'll say something like, well, Suetonius or Tacitus is the source. Okay, well, what records was Tacitus pulling from? Because you quoting a Justin Martyr or a Tertullian or an Augustine of Hippo is irrelevant, because those are Christian apologists. They're not historians. Not saying that they don't understand what history is or they have never studied history, but what I'm showing everybody is if you quote a Christian apologetic and you're quoting it from one of their many apologetics, then you are being very informal, and you got to be able to call that out, and you got to be able to delineate between an apologetic and a historical / primary source statement. You got to be able to define the two. If he's just using apologetics to make his argument, you can call all type of logical fallacies on that. And as a matter of fact, when the Christian begins to call you out for logical fallacy, you let them know that the entire religion itself is illogical, because it's illogical to believe that a man died for my sins, flew up into heaven, raised the dead, fed people, fed 5,000, 7,000 people with one loaf of bread. You ask him, what logical explanation can he give me that I believe that? Logical fallacies are for formal and objective-based conversations, not informal, subjective-based conversations, because they're illogical in presentation. So that's what I want to show people. Learn how to argue with them, and this is why Garfield would never take that debate with me, because I would have chewed him up in the first round. Simple as that.
And I'm so glad you mentioned Pastor Bennett, because Pastor Bennett to me is obviously very scared. Now, I wish they would choose a date, because Pastor Bennett, just like Garfield, is asking 10,000 questions to Jabari so he can find some angles to holler at Jabari with. And like Brother Chris said, what are the texts? I agree. What are the texts? Because even some of those quotes that you hear about Tacitus and Flavius Josephus, where are the records? How old are the texts? This is very important, because remember, and I want to show that to you, brothers and sisters. I want to show that to you now, and I'm going to share the link in the chat as well. So here I'm sharing this page. Hold on. Have it in the chat. So if I put witness Paul, now a lot of people don't know that. Now, this is Bart D. Ehrman in his book, Did Jesus Exist? And as you can see, he wrote, the Apostle Paul is our earliest surviving Christian author of any kind.
Oh my God.
Many readers of the Bible assume that the Gospels were the first books of the New Testament to be written, since they appear first in the New Testament and discuss the life of Jesus, who obviously started it all. But Paul was writing some years before the Gospels. His first letter, 1 Thessalonians, is usually dated to 49 CE. His last, Romans, ? To some 12 or 13 years after that. It is commonly said among mythicists that Paul does not speak about the historical man Jesus and has no understanding of the historical man Jesus. This simply is not true, as an examination of his writings shows full well. Apparently, one reason mythicists want to make this claim is precisely that Paul is our earliest available witness, writing within 20 years of the traditional date of Jesus' death. Now, brothers and sisters, Bob D. Ehrman, PhD, recognized internationally, wrote that Paul is a witness. So you're going to have some Christian apologists who, like Brother Chris MVP Harris says, they'd be gish galloping and they're going to say, oh, we have several first century witnesses of Jesus. But witness is somebody that never met Jesus. It's very important to bear that in mind.
You cannot be a witness.
You can't be a witness.
Paul cannot be a witness.
Well, let me say this, one of the flaws I see in that, I call him William. I just call him William. I don't call him Pastor, man. I just call him William. That's who he is. He's William. All right. William is full of shit. I'm going to explain to you guys why. He'll sit on those panels for over 30 minutes waiting to talk. Everybody has seen this, right? And not once does he reach into his archives and bring forth a source. Have you guys ever noticed that?
I noticed
but what he'll do is
But he
He will
monopolized the conversation,
yell.
though. Yes.
Oh, right. He will yell and yell and yell and monopolize the conversation centered around his ethos or his doctrine. Right now, William will sit there and
Yeah.
he'll do all of that, all the antics.
Yeah.
And you'll ask him simply for a fucking source. And he'll say something. What he does is notice what any of these these people with a religious psychosis does. What they do is, and I'm going to frame this perfectly here, is what they'll do is they will come on there with a large statement, a grandiose statement. And then they'll ask you a question based around the statement that they made. But some people don't realize they're reframing your argument. And they're asking you a loaded question or a misleading question based around the statement they just made. You have to be able to check that. And you have to be able to say, excuse me, if you want to debate me, then what I need you to do is find the source that you have a problem with, and then ask me a question about that source. What he does is reframe everybody's arguments. I've done shows and lessons on what he does. When I debated him on, is Christianity a European religion? It is. It just is, right? It's the epistemology of it is European, right? Because we didn't have it when we came over here or in West Africa. It wasn't there in West Africa like that. We know that. What he did was his first opening salvo was based on Frederick Douglass, a bunch of other irrelevant. William showed me a bunch of other irrelevant bullshit, and then he started talking about Tertullian. Don't let Chris tell you Tertullian isn't black. Now, that's very disingenuous because I never said anything about Tertullian. Tertullian is somebody, as we just read, who is a Christian apologist, which means he is participating in the theology of Christianity. So it just goes to show you how disingenuous his arguments are. And I helped create this monster by not staying in that debate. Because had I just waited and just said, you know what, I'm thrown off, the Q&A answers would have been deadly for him. Because I would have just simply asked him, did Tertullian create Christianity? Yes or no? No. What was the name of this debate? Went to the next question. Did the Jews create Christianity? Yes or no? No. What was the name of this debate? I would have just used that ethos against him. So what I'm trying to show you all is William don't know what he's talking about. He said Christianity started yesterday with, check this out, guys. He said Christianity started yesterday with the New Testament, when they put the New Testament in the Bible. And I was just all like this, like these arguments are so disingenuous. They're so misleading. And it shows me that him as a pastor, I asked myself, have you ever been to seminary school? Because my mother would tell you when you go to seminary school, you don't even open up a Bible. You're learning about Middle Eastern culture, Sumerian culture, Greek culture, Mesopotamian culture. You're learning about the proliferation of Jewish culture, how it affected the Greek culture, how the Greek culture affected. You're learning about all these different things. You're learning about Tertullian origin. You're learning about mysticism. You're not even reading about the Bible. They'll tell you, we're not here to talk about the Bible.
And once again, for those who know, and I know, Chris, because you said that you speak with Jabari, and my advice, get them to agree on a date as soon as possible, because Bennett is not ready. He's looking for information, and he likes to say, oh, that's ridiculous, blah, 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 blah. But he's just not ready at all. So he wants to buy time and ask all those questions to know how to get to his point, to his argument. I mean, I heard Pastor Bennett. He's just not prepared at all. It's nothing exceptional about what he said. It's just, I'm sorry to say that, and he can come on his panel right now, but he knows better. When I wasn't there, he didn't come on the panel. He left a message and come and say, oh, ask him if there's not a consensus that the scholars agree about the historicity of Jesus. There's probably a majority of scholars that believe he existed, but there's no proof, there's no document during his lifetime, period. No document that mentions his name during this. Yes, go ahead, brother.
Yes, Shaka, I'm sorry. There is no substance about Pastor Bennett's arguments because he uses Christian apologists to defend his position.
You
get what I'm saying? That's all he does. He does not go outside of the realm of the Christian apologists. And that's the source of his argument or the source of his information. That's a flawed source, because they are going to be biased naturally. So even if Christian apologists accept the historicity of Jesus, does it make it a fact? No, it doesn't. It's just a general consensus. It does not make it a scientific fact. And he always centers his arguments by utilizing the sources of these Christian apologists.
And I want people to realize one fact. Don't get it twisted, brothers and sisters. If you are not Abrahamic, a lot of the Abrahamic believers will not like you, and some of them will hate you. The most vocal among us are subject of hate. They will not admit it, but it's obvious. And we have seen what happened with Jabari for about 2 years, coming from Garfield and all his female cat groupies. You see? And even if people are not Christian, as long as they are Abrahamic, Muslims, and Jews, Hebrews, Israelites, they are people of the book. They have the same foundation. So they are in cahoots. And I don't know if cahoots has a negative connotation, but they are more or less part of the same group, crew, team, school of thought. Remember that. It is very important.
Once it comes on to Kemet, Chaka, you got all of them. You got the Hebrews, you got the Christians, you got the Muslims, everybody. And the sad part, as I said earlier, Kemet is not a religion. Like, we embrace the rich cultural and historical heritage. We recognize a great African civilization. These people really think that we believe that Asar, Aset, and Eru were historical characters, when no one is claiming that. No one is claiming a Kemetic religion. Yes, there is a spiritual system that's derived from Kemet, but like, it's not a religion the way you have these Christians and these Muslims and these Hebrew Israelites all over the place making stuff up. So I think that's where the problem is with these guys.
Well, can I say something real quick? Because I want you guys to be able to frame your arguments better against these guys, all right? Because I show them no mercy. Brother Shaka knows. I show them no mercy. Stop saying Kemetic. Stop saying Kemetic. You're separating, because every time we say Kemetic, it's almost like exclusively Egyptian, right? But then when we talk about something in West Africa, we say African spirituality. Let's stop that shit. It's all African. Ontologically, it's African. It's African. We don't play into those stereotypes. We don't play into it. We defend Kemet. We defend Nubia. We defend Ethiopia. We defend West Africa, Mali, Songhai. We defend all of it.
Or we can say Nile Valley. It's a very interesting point you're making.
Nile Valley.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We defend all of Africa because we represent all of Africa over here. We're not just Kemetic. We don't represent Kemetic. There's no such thing.
That's right.
It's African. It's Nile Valley culture. Right?
That's right.
Now the Nile Valley is right there in the heart of in Africa. It's in the heart of Africa. It's right there. Civilization began. All right? We don't do that. It is African. Ontologically, it's African. Stop letting people put labels on us or on y'all or on any of us who represent an ancient African civilization. You don't see Europeans disrespecting Greek culture or Roman culture. They honor it. When you go to their museums, they got it plastered everywhere. They even place it inside of the African exhibits to try and have some type of influence there. We got to get away from that. Here, I want to show y'all something real quick. And this is easy. Let me do a screen share right here, because I was talking to William about the Edict of Milan one day, and he was very disingenuous with that when we were talking about expelling Christians and all that. No, I wasn't talking about worshipers of Jesus, okay? You can stop that nonsense. Now, once again, this is a simple Wikipedia article, and you guys can go trace the primary source yourself, and this is what it says, okay? It says, Egypt, which you commended to me, my dear Servanius, I have found to be wholly fickle and inconsistent, and continually waft about every breath of fame. The worshippers of Serapis are called Christians, and those who are devoted to the god Serapis call themselves bishops of Christ. This is Hadrian, the letter of Hadrian to Servanius in 134 AD. Now I want to read the rest of this. It says, in fact, it appears that some followers of Serapis were eventually expelled from Rome in 19 AD. Tiberius also expels the Jews. Here's what's going on here. When you look at Serapis worship, these people were called Christians, right? They were called bishops of Christ. Jews did not worship anybody next to their God. They didn't do that. That's why the Greeks hated them. They did not want to take on Dionysus. They did not want to take on Bacchus. They did not want to take on Serapis. They were forced that. Now, this was an irrelevant people. They were very irrelevant and small in number. But in order to get everybody underneath in your kingdom, underneath you, you have to give them this religion. They cannot be allowed to worship their religion anywhere else. Go read about Theodosius closing down all the Egyptian temples and killing the priests over there. Shaka knows about this. He knows I'm right about this. Flooding the temples at that. Serapis worship later becomes Jesus worship. It does. You could go read about the Council of Ephesus, the Council of Chalcedon, the Edict of Milan. And when you read about Christians burning down the temple of Serapis, this could not have been the Christians of the Bible, because the Christians of the Bible were in fact worshipers of Jesus, and it was a non-violent movement. Y'all see what I'm saying? So What Christians were they talking about? Because you got several schools of thought in Asia concerning Christianity.
Exactly.
Anybody that had a savior God were in fact probably called Christians, dying and resurrecting deities. If you go read the book of Maccabees, they were rejecting Dionysus. He was a dying and resurrecting God, born from an earthly mother. They rejected it. But now we get the New Testament and it's accepted. Please, guys, go read the book Caesar's Messiah. Go read it.
And
you guys,
you know, it's funny.
This Messiah.
It's funny how Shaka, when he was alluding to the Christians and the Hebrews and say they are people of the book, there were one set of people throughout history who were called the people of the book. And I notice even in academia, when we have these conversations, there are rarely mentioned.
Is it breaking up on your end also, brothers? Because on my end, it's breaking up when the brother's speaking.
It's a group of people called the Mandasian book. These were... are you hearing me, Shaka? Are you hearing me, Shaka?
Now, yes, it was breaking up. Was it breaking up for you, Bennett and Chris?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. So now we hear you come again. You said in academia regarding the people of the book. So can you come again, please?
Yes, I'm saying in academia, right? There are a group of people that are rarely mentioned. You know, the same way we speak about religion and Christianity and we don't speak about the Essenes a lot, right? There are a group of people called the Mandasians. The Mandasians were called the people of the book. And they were actually people who were in the Levant region and also in Egypt. When the Muslims will take over these places, they never trouble those people. They were always respected. They were the first people to even start the baptism thing because they were an offshoot of the Essenes. They were always dressed in white robes and stuff like that. So a lot of times, like those people who are called the people of the book were called the Mandasians. So there were different aspects of Christianity, as Chris said, because the Essenes were the first to be practicing baptism within that region. You know, apart from where, you know, they started off in ancient Egypt or the Nile Valley civilizations. But the Essenes are least mentioned. And if you go about the Bible, the biblical Jesus was an Essene. The biblical John was an Essene. From a biblical perspective.
Yes, from a biblical perspective, that would be correct. Yeah, that would be correct. That because the Essenes believed that a man of a priestly nature would come and bring Jesus back. Not bring Jesus back. Bring the Israel this kingdom back to its former glory by teaching them the ways, because they were called the people of the way.
People of the
when
way.
You look at it, that's
Correct.
what they were called, people of the way. The Essenes is something
Correct.
that came around a lot later. So they believed in a priest. Let me grab a book. I have a book back here. 1 second on that.
That's right.
And it's called.
And
meantime,
they were
yeah,
the
go ahead.
first to deal with baptism too. You know, like from a biblical perspective, right? Never before have the people from the Old Testament seen baptism until John baptized Jesus.
Yeah, this book is an old book, as y'all can see, and it's called The Other Bible, and in it it talks about this group of people here. Let me try and find the chapter. I use it now to swat bugs and things like that, kill bugs outside when I'm cutting grass and things like that. So it's really irrelevant to me now, but I still kept it. In other words, it's really nothing. It doesn't mean anything anymore. But in this book, it explains what the Essenes taught and what they believed. And the fact when they taught these things, they believed that a priestly man would bring Israel, or excuse me, no Israel existed, bring Judea back to its former glory. That's what they believed. And they were nothing but a bunch of spiritual hippies, in other words. You know what I'm saying? They were teaching that the Bible or these scriptures that existed were prophetic, because people want, when they're being oppressed, they want to have something to believe in. But that's what they taught. So yes, you had the Essenes, you have Sadducees, you had Pharisees, you had the Levites, you had many different sects, the Manichaeans, you had Coptic Egyptians, you had Monophysite Egyptians, you had all these different Egyptians, in which Greeks were saying they were Christians because they all believed in a savior God. Once again, Ptolemy was the one that came in there and said, no, we gonna worship, y'all gonna worship this, and y'all gonna make an image of me. And that image became Serapis, and the image of Serapis is Ptolemy. And when you look at the image of Serapis and Jesus and all this other nonsense, it's the same thing. You're really worshiping Ptolemy Soter. Now, what is the name of salvation in the Bible? The Greek word for salvation is, guess what, guys? Soterology. All right. So Ptolemy the Savior. Get over it. All right. We could throw it away. It's Greek. It's European epistemology. It's European spirituality. That's why these guys have a religious psychosis. Garfield, you have a religious psychosis. I promised I would not slander you, but I'm going to keep your ass in the dozens until you apologize to this community for what you have did. No different than what I've done. Brother Bennett, my brother right down here at the bottom. I can't see your name. What's your name?
It's Grandmaster Imhotep.
Grandmaster Imhotep,
brother.
Love that name. I love that name. I'm getting ready to get out of here. Brother Shaka, as always, I really wanted you on that platform today. I thought you was going to stop by, but you was live.
I waited for you. I waited for you. And
the minute I saw you, I was 20 minutes late because I had to go outside and do it because my wife was still asleep.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to celebrate and pop bottles and all that. It was
a great show, man. So guys, I'm gonna let you guys take it back. I'm getting ready to get up out of here. Hatep,
peace, Chris.
Ashe, Black Power, Shaka. I know you done with your world tour now. Beating Yahweh up for a while. So I'm signing out of here, guys. Peace.
All right. Shaka, you know, I'm gonna hop out as well. It was nice building with you as usual. Greatly appreciate the work you're doing, and you know, I'll continue to support you.
Thank you very much, brother.
All right. Peace, family. Peace, brother Bennett.
Well, Shaka, thank you. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for your work again. You're making it easy for us, man. I'm gonna tune in. I'm just gonna watch, man. Take over.
Okay, thank you. All right. There's one thing. A video was played inside of the studios, and it was somebody played it. It's about Herman. Was asked some question about some you're welcome, sister. About mythicists, you know. And Batman was like, you know, almost uncomfortable. And I forgot the word he used, but he used a word that's like similar to silly, you know, for mythicists to have their views. And he said that we have testimony of the brother of Jesus and somebody that knew the brother of Jesus. Now it's funny that we don't have any single record that mentions Jesus during his lifetime.
but we're supposed to rely on the brother of Jesus and somebody that knew the brother of Jesus. But we have some scholars who don't believe in these biblical narratives. And it's funny when those people, just because they don't believe in the Bible, first of all, they have that label of mythicist, and then they are discredited for not believing in a particular theology. But it's fair game. It's fair game because even if some people are not, chérie, s'il te plaît, c'est trop fort là. Mets là à côté de toi là. Hold on. Sorry. So I think I lost my thought, but I remember talking about Ehrman and his label. So people, just because they don't believe in a particular narrative, that they will be labeled mythicist. But hey, I lost my thought. But you know, if there's nobody else, I guess I will call it a day because I've been live streaming for 2 hours and 32 minutes, and I am also happy to know that I'm not the only one who don't believe in these excuses, this explanation of the SWAT, CSI, SWAT team effort. We heard the brother, he used to be allegedly a bodyguard for Spike Lee. I mean, this guy did it all, man. He's James Bond. It's a black version of James Bond. He did it all, man. He did it all. He could repair your credit, man. He could repair your credit. For a strange reason, he doesn't do it anymore. Doesn't talk about it anymore. And they have the live streams where they talk about economy and cryptocurrency and all that. I mean, you know, hey, you guys go ahead. It's all good. But he's a kitty cat. He's a little homie now. Anybody else that agrees with his views is welcome to come and, you know, present their information and have a discussion. I'm always open for discussion. It's not a problem. But I don't like groupies, you know. So if somebody want to come and disrespect me because they love another man so much, it's not gonna fly. It's just not gonna fly. Early on Smash Rockwell, there was a dude um, who used profanity towards me. You know what I'm saying? And I told him, you wouldn't say that to my face. He said, yes, he would. I said, we'll see. So eventually you'll see. But you know, these kind of guys, they talk like that online. But when you see them, trust me, they have another demeanor. You know what I'm saying? And that's not impressive at all. We don't need to go there. And one thing that Brother Chris was saying, it's a shame because he makes not all black people look bad, but it's bad because we have some people, unfortunately, they don't provide good services, you know. And a lot of time, you know, unfortunately, some people feel, well, you know, when you do business with certain people, then there's always some problems. But it was not Saneta's fault. It was not Jabari's fault. I mean, for somebody to be accommodated because of some personal situation and then to want to blame them for him not showing up, for him not showing. I mean, you know, those groupies, they believe everything the dude said. They believe he has a bachelor's degree in history that they have never seen. He charged $1,800 to show his degree. Who does that? He said that he received millions of dollars. They believe that like some dumb groupies. I guess they are money hungry. They're thinking, oh, he has money. I'm going to be cool with him. So he's going to throw me a little paper or he's going to give me some opportunity. We have some lames in the community. As a matter of fact, the majority of the people who follow this female cat, Hello Kitty energy, they are anonymous and unidentified. They don't have anything going on for themselves. You know? So then thinking, oh, if I'm close to him, I might have a come up. And on top of that, he's a Christian apologist like me, or he's an Abrahamic apologist like me. And I don't like these Kemetic dudes because they don't believe in my stuff. I mean, if they believe that the dude really had millions of dollars, is it a surprise that they believe this SWAT team, CSI, James Bond, sting operation in the heart of New York? He showed them like apparently a couple of videos and people roll for it. I mean, those gullible, and with this, those are grown men. And you heard earlier that even his man didn't even know about that story. He's fishy from the get-go. He's fishy from the start. And here, when it comes to the degree, two different names. Where is it? Two different names, two different fields. Where is it? Oh, I thought I had it there. It's a shame. I thought I had it there. Man, these guys are pseudo as heck. And you know, all the groupies of Garfield the female cat, they've been groupies of Asahi Mofake. They believe anything they hear. They're a bunch of dumb dudes. Now, let's review some of it. Now, first of all, you know, how he used to get down from way back at the university. Not as a child, not as a teenager.
Ridiculous Asar Imhotep. First of all, let's get to know Asar Imhotep. Listen for yourself.
Did you go through any kind of hazing process, bro?
No, I pledged. Yes.
Okay, so you went through a hazing process.
No, I pledged. There's a difference.
Okay, so as you went through the hazing process, did they slap you on the ass with a paddle?
Yes, they did.
Oh, okay. So you bent over, you grabbed your ankles, and that paddle was smacking that ass.
Basically.
Okay.
So you can see the energy bending over, getting smacked in the bottom. Now, listen to this one.
Allah, and this is where I would disagree with Brother Shaka, is actually in the Egyptian text.
You have to hear it to believe it. This is female cat Garfield's master teacher. Allah is in the Egyptian text. But none of these groupies open their mouth. Actually, that thunder dude talking about, oh, but you know, nobody make mistake. I mean, they're so ridiculous. They're so lame. Grow up, brothers. You look so damn bad. You look horrible. You look so damn bad. It's embarrassing. So some people might think that's a conscious community, but don't think that Nile Valley people get down like that. We don't get down like that, man. Now, what else?
The god Allah is an indigenous African god.
Allah is an indigenous African god. Now, it's funny that Garfield doesn't say that this is spooky nonsense. The nerves to have a guy like that as a master teacher and then have the nerve to disrespect people who follow the Nile Valley tradition.
Hebrews, you know, saying come from and who they are specifically, you know, because based upon my research, these are African people.
Hebrews are African people. What about the Hebrew language?
Then when you do a linguistic analysis, you understand that the Hebrew language is cognate with the Yoruba language.
Those people have been just a hype. Sometimes when you have enough people, enough followers, you can create a hype. We've seen what happened with Black Lives Matter, how they absorbed a whole movement. Tariq Nasheed absorbed the whole ADOS movement and came up with this FBA. Sometimes it's not difficult. You just need enough groupies. It's pitiful, man.
I mean, you notice they're not here to defend this stuff. They have to be on a female cat platform and hype each other up. This bunch of groupie lames. I mean, I'm surprised. I don't know if Jabari really went there, but I saw his avatar and his username, but maybe somebody else who used it. But I'll be surprised. I don't see any reason for Jabari to go there or Sinetta to go there, and I don't see any reason for Garfield to go back on Sinetta Studios, since he said that he doesn't trust Sinetta and that he has no obligation to explain anything to Sinetta. And since he put up this picture, basically saying that it was their fault. I mean, that's the world upside down. Only some groupies can go along with this. That's messed up. That's totally messed up. Completely messed up. If you want to believe in all the James Bond narrative, then feel free. But that's just horrible right now. That's just horrible. And I've been telling you, for how long have I been telling you that the dude is a neophyte, that the dude is a newcomer, that the dude is weak? I've been telling you that. And even the so-called master teachers, we don't hear them no more. It was all hype. They are hyping each other up. They are hyping each other up. That's what they are doing. The Hebrew Israelites are on survival mode. The Dagger Squad is dead. It's a done deal. So we can deal with scholarship if you're ready, but some of you don't like scholarship. You like friendship scholarship. He's my homie, so I defend him. No, regardless of all the BS he talks about, he's my homie, so I'm going to defend that. Let's have some pride and dignity. So we could start, and initially it was New Year resolutions, but we could start New Year with no longer giving energy to this kind of foolishness. Most of the time I'm here on lanes. Now, here's a proposition. When we talk about history, let's ask, what is your record? They're not used to presenting any records. Sometimes they give names of authors. Sometimes they give names of books. Sometimes they read some articles. Those who deal with the Nile Valley, we've shown records for days. I still have some more records. I still have some museums that I'm planning to go to. But unfortunately, when I upload the museum artifact, it doesn't get much play. And best believe, if all those Abrahamic believers, any of these Abrahamic believers, will upload some artifacts, some papyri about their belief system, it will get so much views. People will be happy, they will be sharing it, look at it, but we don't value it. So I would like people to value what we have. And I would like people to not wait to see like 1 million Nine Valley followers before they get on board. If you hear and see some evidence and you like it, then go for it, support it, defend it. Support it and defend it. Don't just be somebody just peeping. Don't just be an observer. Now, I'm not saying put yourself out there, but at least online, you can hit the like button. You can share the video. You can comment on the video, because by you liking a video, commenting on a video, it helps with what we call the algorithm. So the video can have more exposure. We have 37 people online right now. And the female cat Hello Kitty Garfield had 500 people. Now we know he mainly has Christian apologists. We know he paid some of them to get on this platform. But still, I'm sure we have a lot more people who appreciate the Nile Valley information. So besides online, you have friends, you have colleagues, sometimes you have discussion about history, about Black history. Feel free to recommend them. or even tell them, if you want to have a discussion, you can talk with our brother, because here there's no female cat energy, there's no kitty energy. We get to the bottom of things, and when I don't know, I say I don't know. But then for the last 2 years, I've seen some damn groupies who cannot hold their own, who are lying to their teeth, and look at the result. Yakety yak yak, all that talk. How disappointing. Now they have to create some Hollywood scenarios that we still have some dumbass grown men who believe in this whack stuff. I'm sorry for the AWS bomb. I mean, that's so ridiculous, man. I'm not planning on listening to it, but if I was curious and I listened to it, I'll be kind of upset to hear some grown man so delusional. With what I've heard already from our brothers who came on the panel, I'm like, some people are just a lost cause, a straight up lost cause. It's just ridiculous. So once again, it is not Saneta's fault. Don't let anybody try to tell you that it was his fault. They took their time to contact the people. Eventually, the stuff was there available for everybody else to see. I mean, and you know what? At the end of the day, if you believe it's Saneta's fault, but not Garfield's fault, I don't think there's something wrong with your reasoning. The sad thing is that some people would agree with individuals solely based on their school of thought or religion. Even if they know the dude is wrong, if he's Christian, and he's going to defend it because they share the same religion. Muslims do the same thing, Hebrews do the same thing. And that's messed up. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. And Pan Africans are that way. That's why they defend rapists and pedophiles. Oh, is a Pan African dude? Okay, he raped a woman, he raped a child, but he's Pan African. I'm Pan African. So they decide to defend each other. I don't like that stuff. We don't need to do that stuff. It's just like the people who defend black people just because they share the same scholar. The character is important. The integrity is important. Don't think that being pro-black means you just defend every black person just because you have the same skin color. Do you see other ethnic group defending a person just because a person has the same skin color? And sometimes we have some people say, "Oh, what I'm saying, oh, white people, don't care to defend each other." You sure? In politics, when somebody is accused of torture, raping or torturing, you see them, "Oh, I don't care, I defend him." I mean, some people, because they are themselves rapists, so they love when rapists are being defended. Now, amazingly, we hear somebody who's accused, hasn't been sentenced, and everybody's running their mouth, acting like he's guilty already. But the people who have been convicted of sexually abusing children, they don't get that smoke. One of the reasons is because those people are Abrahamic. The other one is not Abrahamic. We have some double standard that's just disgusting. Now we have some black folks running around talking about the ancient Egyptians are not black. Not only that, that they are dissing us when we show depictions like this one. And many of them have never been to a museum in their life. So when I show some artifacts from ancient Egypt, they want to doubt whether or not it is genuine. 2023, we have to do better for real, man. I mean, damn. Now, what's the message here? Now, Akili Omari wrote the police thing was a lie. He said himself while he was there, he had to call the police. Did Garfield give the guy's name so we can look up the incident ourselves? He would not give the name. I mean, oh man, it's so pitiful. I'm telling you, man. This is like some James Bond stuff, man. My goodness. The dude said he doesn't trust Sanetta, allegedly. He said that. Can you believe it? The slap in the face, man. I'm telling you, man. And we listen to those guys who say, yeah, that's ridiculous. Ah, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm ready to debate you. What have they done? What have they presented, man? Some people might think that I only did live streams, but I have some presentations about many topics. There are some newcomers who are acting like they are the big guys on the block, like they are the old school dudes on the block. You cannot become thorough overnight. It takes time. There's levels to this. Now we have all these newcomers who act like that's what's up. I spent 3 hours on side of the studios. There was 1,000 people in attendance at one point. They haven't shown any document at all. The main thing they rely on is the Abrahamic narrative. The black Moorish rulers controlling Europe is a hoax. It is a hoax. I mean, most of the information. It's all good. It's all good. They're going to continue to go on their channel, on their platform, and repeat the same talking points. They will not show you any documents at all. I've been showing records for days, archaeological documents for days. Earlier, one of the things brother said reminded me that sometimes you see people typing in the chat and saying on many different platforms, well, show me the coffin of Saul, show me the body of Saul. I want to say it since you guys want to talk about Jesus. Those guys are talking about deities as if we don't have any records for historical person in ancient Egypt. Because they lack evidence for the historicity of their patriarchs, they want to flip the script and ask for evidence for the historicity of the gods of ancient Egypt. And they don't see anything wrong with that. I guess the Abrahamic believers kind of have it made. Now, Akili Omari wrote, Sa has to watch Reggie sadly. It's obviously going to take time, but we're going to get there. We're going to get some clarity. Like I said, I remember the Blog Talk Radio days. Now we can show directly, live. We can show documentation. But brothers and sisters, I've been live streaming on a regular basis for about 3 years. And like I've said before, a lot of people have never supported me. And the financial support is important. That's how those churches are able to get by. Those mosques are able to get by. Those synagogues are able to get by. Those different temples from different organizations, that's how they are able to get by the contribution of their followers. So remember that it plays a part. Because it's all good to say, yeah, I support you, but you don't contribute. And I'm not greedy. You don't have to come with hundreds of dollars. $1 will do. If you can donate $1 a month, that would be great. $1 a month is $12 a year. And after 10 years, it will be $120. Now I know some people are gonna say I can't afford $1 a month. It's all good. It's not an obligation, but some people can't afford it. So think about your brother, or if you want, just become a member. You have the link there. It's pinned. It remains at the top. But you know what? I'm going to share it now because some people will not necessarily go at the top. Become a member. It's $3 a month. It's $36 a year. The privilege is that you can participate in the chat. Now we don't have trolls in the chat. You see when I open the chat for everyone, sometimes I make exceptions. We have some trolls. As a matter of fact, the guy on Smash Rockwell who used profanity towards me, there we go. We have a new member. That's what's up. Kinetic energy. And this shows me that, there's some things that you have to call people to action. I have to be reminded of that, you know. But that guy on Smash Rockwell's Sabio Kaiser, that dude shared his screen. I think he was using his mobile phone. There was a picture of a vagina. I say, oh, we don't need to see that. There is a guy who want to talk smack and all that. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So welcome to you, Kinetic Energy. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. And he wrote Hotep's Fams. And since you just came on, feel free if you have any questions or statements, And you see, the Pharisees wrote no trolls. You're right. Yes. That's already a peace of mind, because people usually put their money where their mouth is, And once again, I don't mind if people disagree. That's why many times I give the links for people to call, to get on the platform. And I don't screen the calls. I don't screen the callers. As long as people have their webcam, it's cool. I'm always down to dialogue. But Kinetic Energy, feel free if by any chance you happen to have any questions. He wrote, I'm here, y'all, a student of Saba Tehuti. Okay, Tehuti, the brother with the snake and the spider. All right. Yeah, Tehuti is live streaming on his platform almost exclusively, because before he used to be on Killer Priest channel. He also appeared a few times on Sinetta channels. Now he's dealing mainly on his platform, So we have some people here and there sharing the information about the Nile Valley, about this ancient culture. We have the right not to be Abrahamic. We have the right to, it's allowed. We have to take advantage, because right now it is still allowed. Maybe later on it will change. Supporting the archaeological records, Darwinism, and evolution science. And here I see Akili Omari wrote, this channel is really worth subscribing to. And he just subscribed today. And I appreciate that, brother. And like I said before, I would prefer us going through the artifacts from Kemet, because I have plenty of pictures. I have still some videos left, and I will have some more because I'm going to go to other museums as well. But I have a lot of pictures, and I would like for us to go through the Meta Nature. And for those who don't know, I'm giving Meta Nature classes. $10 per class, $10 per hour, for an hour. I mean, the first class usually, goes over an hour, but that's on me, If I go over the hour, that's on me. But whoever would like to learn the Meta Nature, feel free to contact me. Here's my email address, and give me your availabilities. Give me the time slots where you will be available. Make sure you copy and paste the email address so there's no mistake. Now, Kinetic Energy wrote, I am as well very supportive of your path. Good. Like-minded people, it's only right that we connect worldwide, I'm in France. I had some people who took classes in the Netherlands, in England, in Africa, of course, the majority in America, So we have this virtual or online community, but we have, family members, we have children, so it's going to grow. And we should grow away from the madness that we are seeing with some grown man feeding a cat with Hello Kitty energy. I mean, we're supposed to progress really with all the tools that we have at our disposal. We have some some madness, some stories, some unbelievable stories that people are pushing. They don't even believe it themselves, but they are pushing it just because of an agenda. You know. So I'm very happy about this opportunity on Signature Studios because everybody could see that you can hold your own. I was very comfortable, and all those people try to destabilize me, but you can read the comments and see what the people said. So it's not too late now. So I will play a little some, and then I will share the link again because some people don't necessarily know how the chat works. So which one would I play? Which one would I play? I'll play that one.
Yeah, I love Elijah Muhammad enough that if you attack him, I would kill you. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And I'm not a killer, but neither are you. But if somebody attack what you love, each one of you in here would become a killer instantaneously. Am I lying? Mother, let somebody look like they're attacking your child. Here's a woman who fought a bear because the bear snatched her baby. And she ran the bear down, screaming until the bear dropped her baby. Love casts out fear. We don't give a damn about no white man law when you attack what we love. And frankly, it ain't none of your business. What have you got to say about it? Did you teach Malcolm? Did you make Malcolm? Did you clean up Malcolm? Did you put Malcolm out before the world? Was Malcolm your traitor or was he ours? And if we dealt with him like a nation deals with a traitor, what the hell business is it of yours? You just shut your mouth and stay out of it. Because in the future, we're going to become a nation. And the nation got to be able to deal with traitors and cutthroats and turncoats. The white man deals with his. The Jews deal with theirs. Salman Rushdie wrote a nasty thing about the prophet, and Imam Khomeini put out a death thing on him, and it stands today.
Of course, I don't agree with what you just heard. Sounds like justifying the killing of Malcolm X because he attacked what somebody loved. Because Malcolm X spoke about the teenage secretaries of Elijah Muhammad. And Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam members have been lying, saying that those were his wives, the wives of Elijah Muhammad. Nobody puts their wives on isolation. I haven't heard about wives filing a paternity suit so that their children can get financial support. Let alone, I never heard of wives being labeled prostitutes
in the organization's own newspaper, Muhammad Speaks. And it is Isaiah, I believe it's Isaiah Muhammad, but I've shared it so many times. But still, some people make excuses and defend that. Interesting, I was a representative of the nation of gods and earth for 10 years, shaking my head. What impertinent. Now, of course, the nation of gods and earth, also known as the 5%ers, is not the same as the NOI, but it's an offshoot of the Nation of Islam. Now, just in case, link to get on the panel. Now, there's something that I almost forgot. One proposition for a New Year resolution for those who celebrate Kwanzaa, I propose that you, I propose that you don't use a chandelier or menorah or whatever it's called. And I propose, hey. Baby girl's on fire. So I propose that in the long run, they stop using the word Kwanzaa because it ties the celebration to the founder, Karenga, who tortured black women. Now, Eric Bond, I see you, but please use your webcam. That's a requirement to get on the panel. It's not just for you, it's for everybody. Sometimes you might see some people who don't have the webcam. It's because we know who they are. They've shown their faces. And sometimes I forget to ask them because I know who they are. But please use a webcam. Take your time. If your web, okay, thank you very much.
What's good with you, bro?
Feel free to speak, brother. Thank you very much.
Man, I enjoy your work, bro.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, what made you get out of the your line of thought? I don't really know your background. I came across your information a few years back, but I think that you, what were you? Were you like a Christian or Hebrew or?
Yeah, I grew up in a Christian family.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, it's unfortunate what happened yesterday, man. I've been, looking in. I'm like, man, damn, bro. I didn't pay no money for it, but I was on your live stream yesterday, and
okay. Oh, I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to tell you, like, they moved it over to Sarnetta. So, one thing about it, everybody has a lot of good information, different information, spit out the bones, as they say, but I was disappointed, man, and just I'm at a loss for words, bro.
Now, did you listen to Garfield's live stream earlier?
Nah, I ain't even check it out.
Did you hear what the brothers were saying? Okay, hold on. Just hold on. Oh, sorry about this. So, did you have a chance to hear what the brothers were saying earlier?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, basically, what they've said is that they've listened to Garfield's live stream, and Garfield said that his daughter was robbed. So he did some sort of sting operation with the police to arrest the guy, and he actually showed some videos. But the brothers who came on, they don't believe that. They don't believe that. But the people on his channel, they believe it. And the funny thing is that
Hey, let me ask you this, bro. How do
Yeah.
you change your name on here, man? Like I could put like an abbreviation.
Actually, you will need to leave, and then when you come back again, when you click on the link, then it asks you to put your name on.
Oh, okay. No, I just,
Yeah.
for my job and stuff. I mean, it ain't that deep. It's
But
just,
you can do it now. I can wait. It's okay.
yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
jump
yeah,
right back on,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
You know what
Okay,
I'm saying?
okay.
I just for it's
No, it's
all
okay.
good.
It's
Just
okay. It's okay. It's okay. Just do. Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait.
Yeah. Hold on, just hold
Yeah,
on,
go
real
ahead.
quick.
Yeah. I'll wait. So, yeah, I propose that people stop using the term Kwanzaa if they really cannot stop celebrating it, and also stop using the menorah. Oh, we have Pan African James in the place to be. Can you use a webcam, please, brother?
Yo, what's up with my
Yeah, what's good, bro? I'm back.
Yeah, feel free to fix it, brother. Pan African James. So go ahead, brother EB. Feel free, brother.
Yeah. No, it's all good. It's just sometimes people be acting corny, but
yeah.
Like I said, man, it's very unfortunate. I came out of that school of thought, and it's so enticing. Just us as whether you be in Europe or just blacks overall throughout the diaspora. How can I say it? It's like we can be so overzealous. I can remember when I was doing apologetics, and I was real overzealous. So now it's like when I hear other brothers, or I hear brothers say elders, they use that elder all the time, and it's like, well, just because you may be older doesn't mean that you necessarily have all correct information. You heard me?
Yeah.
So it's like you got to be balanced, man, and it's just hurtful. I really like Chris that he's growing more too. He just manned up and say, hey, man, I left the debate, because a lot of times we want to say, aha, I got you, or you did this or this and that, and I hate all the back and forth, but I just know, that's in any sector of when it becomes a debate. A lot of times, a lot of times it becomes egotistic.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true. There's a lot of competition. Oh, we have kinetic energy, but I don't see any webcam. Can you try to get it fixed, brother? Kinetic energy.
Oh, you know what I asked you yesterday? I asked you not to cut you off.
Yeah, no, feel free. Feel free.
What's your understanding of Walter Williams, brother? Because I met the brother. He out where I'm at. I met him about 10 years ago in this bookstore called oh man, what's the name?
So you're in Chicago then?
Yeah.
Well, the brother Walter Williams. I read both his. Yeah.
No, it's called the Underground. It's off 87th Street. The Underground ran into him, and it wasn't so much about commit. We was just going over the scriptures at the time. And my thing is like a lot of times when people make offers, you're not gonna pay the offer because you always gonna dangle it out there and say, "Well, I'm gonna pay $2,000 to $3,000." You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody want to lose their money. So I'm like, that don't really move me. No matter how much I show you. And at the time, I was real heavy in the scriptures. You're not gonna pay it. You feel me?
But kinetic energy is still loading, so there's something wrong with your connection. Feel free to try, to get out and come back in. If your PC is giving you problems, then try with your mobile phone. And if your mobile phone is giving you a problem, then try with your PC if possible. I would love to talk to you, brother. So feel free to try again. I'll hang for a minute. So yeah, brother EB, I purchased and read both his books, the historical origin of Christianity and the historical origin of Islam. And as you probably know, my issue with him is that I disagree with his claim that the Medu Neter has not been deciphered. That's really the main thing that I disagree with. So I would love to have a respectful conversation, not a debate, but if he doesn't have it, it's cool. He doesn't have to. But I want to tell my people worldwide, the Medu Neter has been deciphered. Saying that it hasn't been deciphered is like saying that the cuneiform writing has not been deciphered. I don't see why all these ancient languages like Hebrew, who were reconstructed at one point, why they are deciphered, but for strange reason the Medu Neter is not. We have to stop, because that will mean that all the PhDs in the world, all the Egyptologists in the world are wrong. Walter Williams is right just because he said so. I don't mean to disrespect the elder when I say that, but I know the meta nature, and many people know the meta nature. Even people who are not Egyptologists, some of them have learned the meta nature. So at this point, I think we need to stop with that. But feel free to add on, brother EB.
Yeah, and what I wanted to add is so what's some of the hangups that you may have? Because like I said, a lot of times brothers, they bring a lot of information but don't want to admit when they may be wrong. I've seen you and Chief X had a real good discussion. It kind of got heated, but as far as like with Kemet, I know some of the tenets of it, and but I'm not real deep into it. So it's like, where do you see some of the hang-ups, and are you, in other words, are you wholeheartedly just for Kemet, or do you deal with West Africa, or you know what I'm saying? Or is it
Well,
just, what about Samaria, the Phoenicians, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
what's your thought?
Yeah, I don't deal with the Sumerian stuff because the Sumerians, as far as I'm concerned, and I have demonstrated that with artifacts, those people were not black. They were white skin or Caucasoids. So I follow the traditional African ways of life. It's no secret that I have a preference for Kemet or ancient Egypt. So I deal with the Nile Valley primarily, but I don't mind other customs from traditional Africa. And many times people in America like to say, those who don't like Kemet, they say, well, we're not from Kemet, we're from West Africa. But I'm not claiming that I am from Kemet. I just choose to follow a way of life. Now, some people say, okay, we have Kemet, the civilization, and we have the what some people call the spirituality, but it was indeed a religion. It's a system that they used to practice. And we have a problem with the word religion, but it was. So some people, if they want to, can follow the ancient Egyptian religion. If they don't want to, it's fine. But the people who say, oh, well, we're not from Kemet, we're from West Africa, you notice that most of them don't follow any tradition of West Africa. It's just a talking point. So just like when somebody is a Muslim, we don't tell them, well, but from Arabia, or when somebody is like a Hebrew, so like we don't tell them, well, from Jerusalem, from Canaan, you don't have to descend from ancient Egypt in order to follow or practice the Kemetic traditions.
Yeah, I just wanted to put it out there, and just ask, because a lot of times, even when I was dealing with the Hebrew, ideology real heavy, in some sense, everybody, no matter what religion or what belief system one may have, if we really want to be honest, we are biased in a certain way. And like for me, I really can't see the genetic correlation between us as Black Americans or in Kemet. I could be wrong, but it's like, once you bring that up, it's like almost like an arguing point. It's almost like, okay, you got so many brothers so hard with Kemet. When you just ask a question, it's like it becomes an argument. It's like, well, I really don't see that, brother. I really.
Yo, that was crazy what you just said, though. You said, and peace to everybody. Peace, brother Shaka. It's crazy what you just said, EB. You said you can't see the genetic correlation, and you sure right, you can't. You can't see genetic. You know what I'm saying? So, but what you got to understand, brother, you got to understand when people are prejudiced, just like you just said. So when, depending on who you're getting your information from, you're going to get prejudice off of that information. And I'm going to bring up brother Ngozi, because I don't know if you were on the show last night or we was up late last night, but you could see that he has an infinity for something outside of Kemet that causes his analysis to be off. You see what I'm saying?
That's
because he just uses no, it's something other than that too, Shaka. Because he just uses genetics to explain a whole civilization without using the whole accumulation of information to make his analysis. That lets you know that it's something off with what he's doing. And as humans, we can see that whether he likes it or not. You see what I'm saying? We can see that it's something wrong with Reggie and brother and them about what they're saying about Jabari, or even what they say about Sarasut and Seti. They have some type of personal issue that they drag off into their analysis, but we all as humans see y'all's flaw, whether y'all want us to see it or not, because we have the same history that you guys have. This is all, we're all connected based on the internet now. You can't deny it. We all have a relationship with each other based on the internet. We all have a chronology that we go by. So I was just listening to Unc and Reggie, and he gave Unc the credit for bringing people on the internet to talk about history. When for me, I would say Unc was early, but for me, the person who really kicked this off would be SETI. Would you agree or not? Would you agree or not? I'm asking Shaka this question.
Yeah. Well, you know, I respect Reggie, and I told him that earlier today.
Correct.
And I didn't like what happened between us, but SETI was putting it down before we heard of Reggie. I remember when I first saw Reggie on Sarnetta, and Reggie was saying, well, SETI's a generalist and blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm talking about online. Of course, Reggie.
That's all we're talking
close
about.
To Dr. Ben, yes, he was close with Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark.
Bro,
he was working with Oscar.
I never heard of Dr. being a Dr. Clark before SETI was saying that on a daily basis. I was like, who is Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark? He made you go and look them up. So when in his veneration of trying to get us on the right path, you cannot talk about us, what we're doing right now, without giving SETI the credit for even getting most of us interested in finding out, hey man, something is wrong.
It wasn't
Unc that did that. Unc was trying to get on the coattails of SETI back then.
Yeah,
and then once they came up with the disagreement,
they were cool.
Then they found a way to demonize him and discard him and have their own thing. But we all see this, and I'm not going to let anybody, right? I'm not going to let anybody not say that that we don't acknowledge what we're seeing here.
Yeah,
because
hold
on, one more thing, because Jabari and SETI are right about the chronology of history. That's all we care about.
Yeah.
Well, what started first? Everything else, these little nuances about can the language be written? That's arguments that we have amongst ourselves. But for the most part, we all agree that the chronology starts with Nubia, then Egypt, and then Al. And I'm done.
Yeah, and hold that thought, please, brother EB. I want to let Kinetic Energy feel free to speak. Thank you for calling in. You're muted.
Peace, y'all. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Feel free to speak.
Peace. No, I'm just all ears. You know, a student at this point.
Okay. You don't have any questions?
No.
Okay. Well, stay with us.
Just in agreement.
Okay. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. So go ahead, EB. I think you wanted to say something.
You know the reason I'm smiling. I posted it in your chat yesterday. And a lot of Hebrew brothers, well, of course, you know, when me dealing with them, and then where we at, you know, it's heavy, it's heavy out here. So I just posted, and I told a brother this about maybe 8 or 9 years ago, right? I said SETI and Jabari, the best two debaters that I've seen, because SETI came with that 50 Cent type of energy. You know what I'm saying? He was a younger brother. You feel me? Yeah. And even though I didn't agree with a lot of time when I seen them go against Alim Bey and some other brothers, they have a lot of information.
That was a slaughter.
But as far as like for the younger generation, like I'm in my mid 40s now, but like back in the, I first got on SETI. It's a brother named Sekou who was out here. He stays in Ghana now, and he was selling. That's when the DVDs was real heavy in the streets, flooding the streets, like back in the late 2008, 9 period. And SETI, man, he put it down. I tell brothers that it's like, what's wrong with just admitting? Some brothers, they just cold with it. You know what I'm saying? And I can't, I don't know what happened personally between so-and-so. I remember when the debate happened, when they didn't, supposedly they had some miscommunication or something happened. But throughout my years of watching the conscious community, it's been well over 10 years. SETI, like the brother was saying, SETI and Jabari, bro, they just been a step above a brother. I never understood the hate for Jabari. Why would you hate a man with an education? And that's what gets me a lot of times with these black organizations, quote unquote, that street type of organizations. Like they down people with higher education. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm like, how can I look at my kids? Well, I have my son in the trades now. He'll be 25 next month, well, in February. My daughter 20. How can I put them down and say, don't get higher education? You know, we don't live in a black utopia. That ain't how the world is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know,
why can't you have balance and just admit when somebody Seti and Jabari, they're the best, hands down. I digress.
Yeah, and go ahead, kinetic energy. Go ahead. I was curious. Did y'all get to see the Jabari and Tahuti debate? I have seen it. Yes, I have seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, feel free to add on about that if you have any questions or comments. Feel free. No, I think the debate went a little south when the topic was shifted to whether or not Tahuti read and spoke Medu. So I'm not too sure. Was there a winner established according to Tahuti? I would say that most people claim that Tahuti won, and it's legitimate because Jabari had the help from his wife and Reggie, because Sanetta called Reggie, so it cannot be 3 against 1. Now, indeed, the biggest contention was whether Necheru or the gods are historical people or not. So Tahuti pulled up some Shenu or cartouche, and usually inside of a cartouche we have the name of a king. So at this time, I think that Jabari's level of Necheru was not the same as today. But it's not a big deal. I think it was a good conversation. And at the end of the day, whether or not there's a winner in the debate, it's just only a debate. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow I will debate against somebody, and if the person wins, then he wins the debate. But we can always learn and progress. It's not like you lose a debate and that's it. You're gone, you're destroyed or whatever. So I think it was interesting, nice conversation. And Tahuti is very respectful, very calm, very calm. A lot of time people throw a bit like Jabari, but Jabari sometimes, I mean, and I will do the same thing. He will reply. But Tahuti, from my observation, a lot of time when people throw ad hominems at him, he just doesn't even reply to the ad hominems. He might mention, okay, that's what was said about me, and he keeps it pushing. Now, I spoke to one of Tahuti's follower. I forgot his name, but kind of have not really an afro, but yeah, kind of have an afro, and we spoke, and I think he asked me, he asked me what my opinion was, but I remember saying that I wouldn't rely on Budge as much because our brother Tahuti relies on Wallis Budge a lot. Most of the time, he quotes from Budge, and Budge is kind of outdated. But that's just that's not really a critique. It's just what I would say. So he's doing his thing, and I mean, yeah, that's what I would say so far. But yeah, I think it was a nice, healthy discussion. Yeah, no, I think you're being modest right now because my observation of you is as close to equivalency in the same observation you made of Tahuti as far as his ability to kind of maintain his composure and keep it cool. I see that. I see a lot of that in you as well, and I tip my hat to you for that. Thank you. I wasn't always like that though. Black Talk Radio days, man. When I would hear people saying Africans are living a jungle life and black means death, man, I would get irritated and angry. But I heard it so much, and now I'm unfortunately used to hearing it. But I wanted to say one thing about what EB said earlier about us, whether or not we come from Kemet and stuff like that. What we know is that most people in America, in the Caribbeans, come from West Africa, indeed. But there were some movements, the people who are in Kemet eventually moved, and Cheikh have showed the map with arrows. But we might not know. Some people might want to try to look for the DNA. But once again, people don't follow unless they have a culture already, and they have some customs. But there's no rule that says, okay, if you want to be Kemetic or if you want to follow the Nile Valley customs or tradition, then you have to come from over there. That's just a talking point that they use. They love to say. And actually, you talked about SETI and the fact that and with Jabari, sometimes people will use anything. SETI, they might say, oh, he curses a lot, but the rappers, they get invited everywhere. They
Right.
get respect everywhere. They are
Right.
celebrities. They use it. They use a lot of profanity. It's not a problem. Jabari. Some people might play on the fact that he has that education. People will just use any talking point they can. But the interesting thing is that when it's like a person that's not anonymous and unidentified, it's different. And if it's equal time, it's even different. Because like Pastor Bennett that we talked about, when he's talking with Jabari, he's asking him so many questions. You feel like he's running the platform. He has so many questions. He's like, but all of this is going to come to an end. I really wish whoever knows Jabari, please propose to him that they set a date as soon as possible, because Pastor Bennett is really not ready and he's buying time. So he can be done, just like Garfield, the female cap. It's a done deal. We can move to the next one and move to the next one and then do our thing. But feel free to add on, brothers.
Well, you know what I wanted to ask? How do you close that gap? Like, I would use, and everybody know if you in the Black community, wherever you at in Europe or Australia, in the States, whatever, that, the first talking point is usually Deuteronomy 28, how we lost our history. So, how do you close that gap to kind of say that, so to speak, that, you can't really use that one particular verse, because we all have different last names. And I mean, I could be wrong, but I think we are one of the few cultures and societies that don't really know what our history is. So how do you close that gap, brother?
Well, let me answer that for him real quick. It's just one word: chronology.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you just brought up Deuteronomy. What date do you give the text of Deuteronomy? See what I'm saying? Now,
yeah.
While I'm asking you this question, understand that Africans had been writing probably 2,000 years before this text that you're bringing up now. Okay, so in the context of an African who has been stripped of history, when you start to think about what they provided or what they gave us a history of Adam and Eve, and that is our worldview of how this thing starts. But when you find out that text is 2,000 years after somebody else had a creation story, what do you do with that text that you find out is 2,000 years late? Answer that question simply. What do you do with that text? And once you find out that it's 2,000 years after real history, you discard that text and then you go back and start to look at the older text, right? That's what you should do. It's as simple as that. It should not take us a year to figure out the chronology and what they provide, what they gave us during our enslavement should be discarded based on who gave it to us and the circumstances in which it was gave. And I'll let Shaka answer. Go ahead.
And furthermore, that Deuteronomy 28 says, if I'm not mistaken, you will be sent back to Egypt. America is not Egypt. And it says that no one will buy you, and we were bought. And indeed, who is he talking about? The people who wrote this thing, I mean, the Canaanites, to make it simple, I don't use the term Hebrew or Israelite because people need to show me how far back they can show us this word written, but the Canaanites, they are attested in history, in ancient time. So the Canaanites, they were not black. And this is one thing also, a lot of people might disagree, but a lot of our elder scholars have been saying that the Semites were black people. Some people feel like the inhabitants of Canaan and Arabia used to be black people, and I'm talking about from 1500 BC, even 2000 BC. But as far as I'm concerned, and I've demonstrated in my video, White Supremacy Black Awakening, the inhabitants of these areas were not black; they were white skinned. Now, so a lot of our people say, well, we're the first to inhabit the planet Earth. We're everywhere. 10,000 BC. I don't deal with 10,000 BC. I don't have any records. I don't know, but I'm confident that the inhabitants of Arabia and Canaan from 2500 BC, not just Canaan and Arabia, but all the Levant, the Near East, those people are white skinned. And besides, all the scholars that some of our people like to quote to give some legitimacy to their claims, none of them say that the Hebrews or Israelites were black people. But go ahead, brother. Kinetic Energy, you wanted to speak, feel free.
Yes, I wanted to elaborate the brother in the Adidas hoodie. I'm sorry. What is your name?
EB.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
EB. EB. Yes. EB.
EB.
Letter E. Letter B. Yes. EB. B like Bravo. Yes.
EB, to elaborate on your question, which was kind of sort of like rhetorical, on how we go, move forward from the Deuteronomy 28. First and foremost, the Deuteronomy 28. There's two there's two ethnicities of people. There's the Orthodox Caucasian European Jew who claims that verse, and that Deuteronomy verse, dealing with the people who were European Caucasian. And so I feel like when the narrative was picked up a decade or two before William Crosley, and the names of the originators who created this black narrative to the Judaism history in the early centuries, in the early 19th century, I believe it was mid 19th century, kind of took a European Caucasian story about what happened in that verse, Deuteronomy 28, and kind of made it their own. And so to answer your question, as far as how would we be, where would we begin? I would say we would at first relate that story to white history. That not only is the story of Deuteronomy and that narrative, as far as the black Hebrews, the black Jews, and their claim to it, we would have to take it to its originality, which is Caucasians who claim that same Deuteronomy 28. So maybe we need to reach out to some scholars, some Jewish scholarship, and see what their perspective is on Deuteronomy 28, and what their perspective is as far as black men in North America claiming to be Hebrews, claiming that verse is related to their exodus to America and such. I'm not too sure if I diplomated my my vision too well.
No, I get your point.
Did y'all feel me?
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
most
we all
definitely.
agree. We all agree that that's white history, correct?
Well, I would say so. I would say, let's put it another way. It was white people who originated these stories, who wrote those stories. I'm saying, if you look at the writing, it comes from the Greek mainly. Now some people will argue, we had some Hebrew writing, but I don't think we have anything complete. It's usually said that the oldest Bible is in Greek. It's either the Septuagint or the Codex Sinaiticus. So, if people want to argue that it was black Greek people who wrote it, then they can go ahead. But no, it's safe to say that it was white people, Caucasoid people, who originated those writings. Some people might say those stories, some people might say those writings. So, and our Hebrew Israelite brothers, they have that 12 tribe chart, which is not ancient, it's something made up, and it's just a shame. And the things that they've been into this belief system for so long, and some of them are making a living out of it. You know, we have different organizations. So since they are making a living out of it, will they just, it's just like Kwanzaa. People celebrate it, and they when they learn that, okay, the guy tortured black woman, he was an FBI informant like John Henry Clark said, and he plagiarized the Jewish holiday Hanukkah, they also, some of them make money, some of them practice Kwanzaa, but others not only practice it, but they organize the event. So at the end of the year, it's a big payday for them. So there's this aspect, and it's just a simple aspect of the belief, something that they really believe is true and factual. But now we're having those conversations and we can get some clarity. But brothers, what I'm going to do is let you make your closing remarks, because it's been like 3 hours and 40 minutes. You know, I want to, spend some time with the family. So I'm going to go, well, actually, I'm going to go anti-clockwise. So kinetic energy, feel free to make your closing remarks.
Yeah, appreciate y'all for having me. I subscribe today. I'm out of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania on the east, and I look forward to presenting my history, my educational history, beginning from the church to a short skit in theology school, and my 10 years with the Nation of Gods and Earths as an East Coast representative, and how my travels led me today to the most ancient antiquity historian, Egypt. Look forward to that. Appreciate y'all for having me. Happy New Year to y'all.
Thank you. Same to you. Welcome. But I want to ask you, are you, because you look Caucasian to me, but are you mixed or?
My genetic differentiality is I can only say I'm a member of the human race.
I understand, because the 5%ers, the 5%ers, some people don't know, but they had one white member who was respected because he had some knowledge. Now I forgot his name, but his picture is floating around. So
I'm aware.
Right.
I'm very aware. I'm very well aware of who that gentleman was.
All right.
And yeah, we can in the future discuss the conflict, the friction between someone of my of my skin
Yeah,
tone.
this is gonna be interesting, right?
Being a representative,
you might not need to cut the show off, Shaka. This might be
no.
classic.
It's been 3 hours and 40. It's like
10 years, y'all.
If it's too long,
this is crazy right here. Because I'm over here looking. I'm over here like Shaka. And I'm like, yo, am I tripping? That's kind of how you said that. That's why I was over here like, man, because he was using words like we and our, and I'm like, yo, this kind of remind me of what was that, Sesame Street, where they had one of these things and not the other. One of these. Y'all don't know. Y'all ain't watch Sesame Street?
I know what it is. It's the anime
Do y'all
stuff,
remember when they had the pictures, the 4 pictures, then they would say one of them is not the same? Y'all, I'm gonna show that video one time. This is classic because and it's no disrespect, because I think it's pretty cool that you came on here, but we're gonna have to definitely address the we. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a we. You know what I'm saying? You have to be respectful because we can see you. And I think it's honorable that we can see you, right? And that you're, because we're just talking about history. But I want to know, when you come back, where do you fall in this history that you, because it's okay for you to agree that the history, the chronology of history, no matter what color you is, you're smart enough to understand that the chronology of history comes from Egypt. We're not even going to talk about race right now, right? But that's what you're saying. So with that being said, I look forward to seeing you come back on the show so we can have this discussion later on. But I'm peace, Shaka, and Happy New Year to you, brother.
Peace, thank you. And now, EB, feel free to make your closing remarks, and then lastly, we're gonna let Babylon done. But go ahead, EB.
Yeah, appreciate the show, appreciate the platform. I'm always looking to learn more and more. Like I say, coming out of the ideology. Grew up a Christian, the black church got into apologetics. This was like 15 years ago, did that heavy. You know, I was influenced by like Hank Hanegraaff, Ron Rhodes, some of those. You really don't see those people no more, but then get off to like the Hebrew ideology, you know, so big, influential. Always had a hard time dealing with Deuteronomy 28 and just humanity overall, you know, and just you know, when you deal with different people and you travel and you work with others, you know, a lot of times we can have biases, and every group and culture that I've seen always feels like they're superior in some way or the other than others. And you know, I'm not with that today. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with that. I'm here for the knowledge and understanding, and you know, that one-upmanship, that ain't me no more, man. Because I was very biased and rude and ignorant to a lot of people over the years. You know what I'm saying? Beating them over the head with the Bible, beating them over the head with Black history. And it's like, or certain holidays or this and that, man, you don't do this and that. Then I had to look myself in the mirror and say, well, what you do? What you do, Negro? You feel me? So it's like, you know, I take my own accountability. I don't believe in the spookism and all this and that, and a Satan or a devil is making me do something. No, I take accountability for my own actions, bro. So appreciate the platform. Look forward to it, and drop your email, bro, so I can hit you with an email.
For sure, EB.
Let me just drop it now. Oh, you were asking for kinetic energy or me for the email?
Well, yeah. What's your email? You could just say it. What's your email, bro?
There it is here. You can copy and paste it. It's better because it will avoid you making a mistake, because it's kind of a long email. But that's the one there.
Oh, okay, bet.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, kinetic energy. You're definitely welcome on this platform. You know, you don't have to worry. And Babylon Don, feel free to make your closing remarks, brother. I mean, I would ask you for the webcam normally, but you know, go ahead.
Hey, yeah, because there's no need of me cutting on the webcam, because every time I get on, you know what I'm saying, when you see me post in the chat, y'all start running when y'all see me about to come on here, you know.
Hell no.
But anyway, Shaka, you know, just play with you, bro.
Yeah.
But I did want to comment on what EB said. Brother EB, how you doing, man? My name's Babylon Dunn, man.
Yeah, peace, fam. I'll be seeing you over there in I'll be seeing you over there in JJ panel. I'll probably slide over there later on whenever he come on.
Okay, yeah, me too, bro. Yeah. I'm just trying to get some information out. But it ain't even a correction I had on you. I was just gonna say, you said earlier about you know, like mostly it's mainly concerned with like, you know, like the people in the land and chronology, I think you were saying. But I also want to point out, you know, in Sheikh Eti Diop in the symposium, he talked about the peopling of Africa, you know what I'm saying, the peopling of the Levant in that area. So we could turn to him for some type of references if we want to talk about scholarly references and the people of the Levant. He talked about the northern Levant and the southern Levant. We're gonna pull that out. And the other thing was, the symposium was two-part. It was also about deciphering of the Meroitic script.
Yes.
Correct? You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's another big part of it. So it wasn't just about just the people, but he also brought in not just the melanin and all of that. They focus on that, but he also brought in a deep linguistic understanding of the people through the deciphering of the Meroitic script. That's Indeed. It. I'm done. But that's it.
Indeed. Thank
you.
Yeah,
Shaka, well, I'm gonna catch you before you leave one of these days, bro. Shaka, I don't know, man. I don't want to say nothing yet. I gotta make sure that everything's good on my computer. But I'm not getting your what's the names? I'm not getting your that you on live.
Oh yeah, it happens. Even when people hit that notification bell, not everybody gets notified, but that happens with other platforms as well. Sometimes I see people living in different chats, different channels. They say, "Oh, I wasn't notified," and it's understandable. You know, YouTube, they have so many subscribers, so many people who use the platform, so not everybody get it. And that's why I usually say to people, you know, make sure that you subscribe to my Twitter, because usually before I go live, I share it on my YouTube timeline, and I also share it on Twitter. But I've noticed though that people don't add me on Twitter, and I think it's because in America particularly, Twitter is used a lot people in Europe will use probably Facebook or Instagram more. And I think some people don't want to be associated with me because, you know, their colleagues and family members might be there. But that's just me. That's conjecture. But even if they don't add me on Twitter, if at least they look at my Twitter, but it'll be easier for them to add me on Twitter. But yeah, unfortunately, they happen. So my best solution will be to add me on Twitter for those who have Twitter, because I have that habit of also sharing the link just before I go live. You know.
All right, I need to do that because I don't have a Twitter, so I'll do that.
Yeah, and my Twitter, of course. I mean, you know, all my social media is network is the same. It's my app forever, all in one word. You know, just like the name of this channel. So it's the same on Twitter, on Instagram, TikTok. I mean, I no longer use Instagram and TikTok. I have the accounts, but you know, but the Twitter, I tweet when before I live stream. You know, so.
Last question before you
Yes.
leave. When you come on again, when you think you coming on again, so I can catch these brothers on here, man. I like the bill y'all was doing. I just waited too long. I was like enjoying myself listening. Then
Yeah.
I'd be waiting too long. Then I try to come on at the end.
I really don't know. I mean, I'm late with my reading, and I kind of spent a bit of time to refute a lot of stuff, and I was looking forward for the debate. And now that everybody can see that, you know, Garfield is a female cat, I'm like, you know, I can have a little bit of rest. Yeah, I can have a little bit of rest and try to catch up on my reading. But I really like live streaming, so probably sometime during the week. But before I would let people know beforehand. But now that I'm studying at the university, it's a whole different dynamic. You know, time is very scarce. But
Yeah.
I expect probably sometime during the week. But yeah, go ahead, brother EB.
What time is it out there in France right now? Because
All
where
right,
I'm at,
right now it's 10 p.m.
okay, see, it's 3 o'clock where I'm at. Okay.
Yeah.
It's 2 o'clock where I'm at.
Yeah. So thank you very much for being there. I appreciate that. I love the conversation. And remember, for everybody listening, even if you don't agree with me, you are welcome to get on the panel whenever I share the link. It's fine. You will see. It's not going to be no rah-rah stuff. If you agree, I don't mind if you come and say, I agree with you, I like what you do. But even if you don't agree, you know what I'm saying, feel free to come as well. We can discuss. All right. So thank you very much for being there. I'm just going to
All
wrap
right.
this up. All right. So I'm going to say peace. I'm going to say stay safe, stay healthy. If I'm allowed to by the nature, I will definitely holler back at you. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. I don't argue, I state facts. Do I too, do I need to? Hotep.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving middle nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody is interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neture classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months. just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge. No question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Netia class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/Ma'at Forever.